This podcast is presented by Warhawk. One war, infinite battles. Only on PlayStation 3.
Welcome to the weekend, folks. It is the One Up Yours podcast for Friday, the very first day of September 2007. I'm Garnet Lee. I've got the group here, John Davison across from me, Mark McDonald to my left. We brought Patrick Klepek in because we're going to talk a little Leipzig game convention. Let me give you a little rundown of what we're going to do for the show today because it's going to be a little different than our normal format. It's going to be a two-segment show. It's going to be all about the conventions. In the first segment, we're going to catch you up a little bit on what's been going on this week, a little bit of the hold on, I got to just aside for a moment.
We're sniffing markers over here.
They've gone to marker sniffing.
It smells like licorice.
It is. It's black licorice. John pointed out just as you were doing the intro, which is an excellent intro, by the way. But not that it wasn't a great intro, but this is a scented marker, which I hadn't seen since grade school, and it's black licorice. So,
well, let me have a hit off that.
All right, yeah.
You can get high, and it smells good.
We got some rum, and now we're getting into the huffing section. So maybe people can send paint along with their alcohol
paper bags and bottles of glue.
The views and comments of one of yours do not necessarily represent the comments of Ziff Davis Media or any other living person. Anyway, here's what we're doing in the show. In the first segment, we're going to catch up on the news a little bit. We're going to talk about a couple of things that happened this week. Then we're going to talk about Leipzig because Patrick was there. It was his first time out of country, and Leipzig had a lot of cool games to talk about.
It did.
And then in the second segment, it'll be that big event you've been waiting for. One Up Your show, and I don't know, what do you think, John, about 250 of our good friends?
I think I was looking at the photos. It must have been there were 100 people sitting down.
See, I've heard everywhere from 150 to, I swear to God, somebody told me like 400 to 500. I also heard it was one of the most popular. I've heard it was one of the most popular panels at PAX and the most popular of the outside panels at PAX.
Oh, the outside
stuff that
panels
wasn't in the theater that
Right.
Gabe and Tycho did. Because there were tons of people.
Right.
The stage director there, when we walked up, she was like, "So, you guys ready?" And I said, "Yeah, we're ready." I'm like, "I guess, we'll wait until the audience clears out or whatnot."
Were you guys liquored up or?
No, not. Well, I wasn't. He was.
I was going to say, weren't you across the street?
Me and Luke sat in a bar for 2 hours and
Shane
worked.
was
There was
drunk,
this
I think.
line of microbrew beers on tap, and we just sort of started working
down the line.
Systematically worked them out.
That's good. That's a
So
good way
we
to
were
work.
pretty hammered when we got there.
I think Shane was too. Garnett, you were like the only sober one.
How does that happen?
Oh, irony of ironies.
Let me tell you what, PAX was a workout for me. I was running. We hit PAX, and I don't think I ever stopped. It was like, even after going out to the bars, I was going back to the room and writing something to put up on the news blog or something to add into a preview or whatever.
There's a lot of stuff, and you guys start off with what you've been playing at PAX, right?
Right, we
So
do.
you
We
go
start off
over
with
that.
what you're playing. Well, actually, we did kind of what you've seen at PAX.
Right.
Yeah, I didn't really go anywhere.
No, it didn't. Well, and I got to tell you, I was standing in front of all those people and sort of, I guess as the ringleader of the show or whatever, looking out there and going, you know what, we got to get to questions because there's already a queue of like 20 people standing in line.
It was a line.
Why don't
It was
we,
amazing.
Why don't we, because I want to actually ask you a lot more about it, but maybe we should do it right before leading
All
into to that section.
So we'll do that. And I guess what we should do now is hop into, there's a couple of news things we want to hit on real quick.
Yeah, it's pretty slow
that happened
week,
this week.
But there were two kind of, we'll just start off with the handheld stuff. I mean, in the office we got the new Slim PSP, which I was already kind of mad when they announced it at E3. I don't think they've done enough, but we have it, and Garnett actually touched it and played with it.
We have it up on our gear blog right now, and I got to tell you, of the people in the office, I'm on the camp that's like not so impressed by
What's
it.
not to like? It's thinner. The battery lasts longer.
It's a lot
John,
lighter,
if
right?
you can hold this thing and tell me that you can perceive that it's a lot thinner, I will.
I didn't say a lot.
I'll
I
give you
just said
$50.
What about a
Thinner.
lot? What about?
You can't tell the
The fact that Sony, when they announced it, had to give a percentage rather than
Yeah.
doing a comparison shot says a lot of how much thinner this thing
you
is.
can totally tell the weight difference.
Right.
You can
so
tell the weight
That's
difference.
what I've heard. Weight and D-pad.
But it wasn't heavy in the first place.
All right, but battery's a big deal, right?
Yeah, it doesn't last as long. That's right. That is a big deal.
Wah.
It's more efficient, right? This is what I read online at. And
Huh?
I'm going to say I read this.
I don't-
at,
New feature.
I don't understand.
Shorter battery
I
life.
think the idea is that it charges faster because one of the things that they did add, which you
Oh,
can
well, that's
see in
the important number to change.
because you can see in the XMB is you can now charge the thing via USB as well, which is cool. That's a good addition.
It also has
Because every phone in the fucking world hasn't been doing that for the last 3 years.
Hey man, well
Finally.
3 years ago on the PSP.
It also has 64 megabytes of internal memory, so now you don't necessarily have to have I mean, you kind of do still need a memory stick, but if
save-
you're on,
but for
if you're
save
on,
games.
yeah, for save games, like I was in, like when I went to Leipzig, like I was in the middle of a Crush game, forgot to bring my memory stick, and I was totally fucked because if I wanted to play something else, I had nothing to save it on.
Here's an interesting question I'd be curious to know. Is the thing running at 200 or is it come automatically unlocked to 333?
Well, it's done in software.
That's
anyway,
software. That's
so
I
that's
know.
not hardware.
I know, but the default setting on the old PSP was 200, right? And then you had to
if it's in
unlock
software,
it.
does it matter? Because all the first-party games are going to run at the faster speed now.
Yeah, I think they would take it the same. Wasn't there there's the thing about being able to play your games on the screen now, right?
Right, the TV out. The TV out is awesome.
Right.
The TV out is really cool. And do those cables come with it?
No. I've seen them in
Of course not. It's
in a
Sony.
box. But
I bet the Media Manager software still doesn't come with it either. Because why would you want that?
Does anybody actually go out of their way to buy that Media
course
Manager
not. They'll
software? I mean,
copy
it's
it.
so silly.
But so what it sounds like is obviously if you're going to buy a new one, that's going to be the one, but not
Oh, without a
enough-
doubt.
But not enough to actually, even if you're hardcore.
And as far
PSP
as
If
far
you're
as
hardcore, I think you're going to get one because Ryan O'Donnell was totally arguing with me about
I know
this
he's
subject.
buying one,
He
yeah.
was hot for it. He was hype on it. So there's definitely a contingent of people who are going to see it and going to want it, and that's cool. And I whatever. I mean, that's cool.
What color's the one we have in the office?
It's the silver fleck one. I wasn't so impressed with the finish. It looks kind of
the finish doesn't look that great, and the thing is, you can't. As far as I know, when they announced it E3, you can't buy the Slim PSP by itself.
It's
You have to
available in
buy
packs.
these fucking entertainment packs. So you need to have either Darth Vader or the Homer Simpson or the silver thing, which really doesn't look that great. It's
I didn't think
not.
it looked that good.
It's not a plain silver finish. It's got some
It's
freckly
like bad
shit.
1950s car paint job silver, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hot rod. Bad 50s hot rod paint
With-
job.
with
yeah.
the- with
It's
like
got all
big
flecky.
fleck-
Yeah, it's
oh.
all flecky. It's
So
yeah.
Shane's not here, but in his defense, I will say they'll probably be coming out with other colors. You'll be able to buy it.
There's
on
a bunch
its own.
coming in Europe, right? Haven't they
There's
already
a
announced
bunch more coming to Europe, but the thing
But
is,
will
why they just did a price drop, and the new PSP I want, it's not at the new price.
That was a joke, by the way, when I said in Shane's defense. But none of you guys laughed. None of you caught it. You're like, yeah.
Dude, I don't even know if they're going to bring them
here.
here. Look, they've had tons of colors on consoles before in Japan and some in Europe. They never bring that shit to America. We always get stiffed.
No.
I could channel Shane. So, what does he normally say? It's got more functionality. So you're saying that's not good, Garnet?
Yes, I'm saying that's not good, Shane. No, I mean, to me, the biggest thing is, and like you said 3 years ago, I can now I don't have to carry my charger around. If I have my USB cable, I can plug it into my PC and keep the
That's
damn
all
thing
right. I think
charged.
to plug it into a TV is a bigger deal. Although, I mean, how good does it look?
Haven't seen
No,
it.
we haven't seen it yet. So Damien needs to hook it up because we want to do some video
So-
of that.
There's going
we
to
didn't.
be one.
So you didn't review it on the Gear blog. It was just.
It's on the Gear blog. Yeah, we did a quick. We literally unboxed it. Did a bunch of. Shauna did some great looking pictures, which are super high detail, high res pictures.
So we got the actual package that it comes in. So it doesn't.
No, it was
come,
white box.
Oh.
It was white box.
So we don't know if it comes with the AV cable or not. But
It
we're
won't. I
assuming
think
it
you're
won't.
right. It won't.
Right, we got the AV cable and like a separate packaging, and we're doing like a video review thing they're working on now for the video part of it. Something that this brings up that this reminds me of, did you guys see the thing this week about the new DS lights being not as light as the old DS lights?
So they reduced
Well,
the
they're
screens?
DS heavy?
the screen brightness, and I only saw the first story on this, so it could have just been Joe Gamer's particular one, but I got picked up by some of the blogs where they turn off the lights in the room, turn on an old DS, turn on one of the new, I think it was one of the new Brain Age DSs, and it was not as
Is that
bright.
to manage? I mean, is it?
Could have
just
been
to
more
manage
battery
battery?
life.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I mean, it wouldn't shock me. The brightest setting on a DS Lite is kind of blinding.
But
If you're using it in a dark
And I
setting,
don't think they'll switch to LED at some point because it's better on battery life, and that might make a difference. But I don't know.
Just thought it was interesting.
All right. On the handheld tip, though, N-Gage coming back again.
sort of. I mean, what they're doing now is basically what they would have should have done from the start, which is they're
Exactly.
coming back as a service, as a gaming platform, not as a gaming device.
It's Xbox Live Arcade for phones.
Exactly, and they've already got Electronic Arts, Capcom, Vivendi, and other companies in the works doing stuff, and Nokia is doing some internal stuff. But this is what they should have done from the beginning. This is what N-Gage should have been a mobile platform delivery service. Because there isn't one. It's just Verizon has this and Singular has this, and there's no kind of unified attempt to get the industry behind it. And this is sort of what this is supposed
So
to
you get like a gamer tag, you have online awareness, you'll be able to
They have-
share.
they have gamer
accomplishments.
scores.
They had that before, but they didn't do anything with it.
Right.
So if you had an N-Gage and you wanted to go into the forums, that was kind of your tag. And there were a few games previously that you could play. There was that sort of MMO thing that they had running on it for a while.
They had
where
like
you
a
had a tag for
Fallout-esque
that.
sort of game. They had some cool ideas. That just, now you don't need to buy their proprietary device.
And it's all downloads as well. So
it's all
not the
downloads,
cards
and I think
anymore.
they've announced 7 devices so far that are compatible with the service, all the way up from your iPhone type looking devices to something that looks like a Razer phone. Like it seems to be scalable. I'm not sure if you'll be able to play all the games, but they seem to be taking a much more understandable approach.
It's a Series 60 app, so
Yeah.
it looks like if you have a Series 60 phone with a fairly powerful chip in it, it'll run the N-Gage stuff.
We said it's going to run on that phone that I have, which is an N73,
Yeah.
and
That's one of the devices that they have on there. They have a pre-release site right now.
The N81, which is one of the new phones that they unveiled, actually looks pretty hot shit. I thought that looked like a really cool
Now
phone.
they need some decent games to actually
Well,
go on a
Capcom's
cell phone.
doing some classic stuff and some new stuff.
They're doing
Yeah.
They're doing Street Fighter, and they say like all of the moves and stuff are in there, but it's still to me,
You
it's
know,
like
how the fuck are you going to pull them off?
exactly what the I mean, do you?
Well, if you
even
go to like the
want it?
N81 phone, I mean, like, so we're looking at the picture of the N81 here. If you have one around here, so this phone, like, the way you're going to do it is when you turn it landscape style, right?
Right.
The left hand, the navigation doohickey, which is like sort of a thumb pad stick combination, becomes your D-pad, and then there's buttons on the other side
But
of the
those
screen.
Nokia thumbpad things are not really. They do need to think about.
Well, I don't think it's going to be like the one that I have. I mean, it's not going to be as stiff as this one. Do you think?
I don't know.
think.
I think the iPhone though, and if one's other devices do come out a lot like it, that kind of stuff could be interesting on like a DS level. Now that DS
Absolutely,
games like
yeah.
Zelda are coming out that are almost completely controlled by touch, it kind of proves, hey, you can make some kick-ass games.
But
with
hell,
this
you could
technology.
even do something. I mean, I'm not to what extent of use of the iPhone, but even like Street Fighter, like you could pull off Street Fighter moves if you have some sort of touchpad interface.
Oh, Patrick, you don't mean that. You don't really think that. Here's a
Certainly better
question.
certainly better than a fucking Nokia D-pad.
Well, of course, anything's
But
better
I
than
think,
that.
I mean, just from big picture, I mean, this is what they should have done 2 years ago. But
Yep.
at least they did it. They
Right.
didn't just go, "Oh, Engage didn't work. Bye."
Or try again and
Yeah.
fail again. They're at least trying a new approach.
Making it a service rather than a device is really smart.
Is
Okay,
game-
but what's the likelihood that this is going to be the savior of mobile gaming in America? Because America is way behind the rest of the world as far as people playing
Mobile
games.
gaming
back on
doesn't
set.
need a savior. They're making a lot of money out of it.
Okay.
Yeah, it doesn't necessarily need a unified platform. It's more that Nokia has something to get behind that's not a device they need to push.
I think mobile gaming though does need like its Pokemon. I mean, mobile phone gaming does need like its Pokemon or something though.
In North America.
Okay, maybe yeah. It's if
The
it's
rest of
taken
the
off
world,
other parts of
Jammed
the
at
world.
Bowling's done something like 5 million downloads.
They
or something
make tons
crazy.
of money because just because everybody has a cell phone, but still like. I work with 50 gamers, and I don't know any of them that buy their own choice, except for maybe Sharky. And you've done it, but John, but I think you've probably been like, okay, I should probably kind of check this out for work reasons. It's been a little bit of work in it.
You can find a lot of stuff online that you don't pay for.
I like well put. You chose your words carefully there. But it's something that this did. Just one final thing that this did make me think of is GameTap at all involved? Because this sounds to me like GameTap for mobile phones. Are they all involved in the mobile
No.
space? Because
No.
it sounds to me like
They should be.
they should be.
They probably should be.
And really, what needs to happen is someone, not Nokia, a third party needs to come in with a service that becomes a platform that
Yeah, because they're
everyone
going to want to
adopts.
go the Xbox route and license the N-Gage app to other
nobody's
people,
gonna
and
do
no one's
it.
going to do it. Sony Ericsson are already talking about doing a PlayStation branded phone. There was some quote this week where they said, "Yeah, of course we're thinking of
Yeah,
that."
they've already shown that Home and the cross media bar functionality is working on certain Ericsson phones internally. So there's no reason they're not going to do that. And then at the end of the day, we end up just everyone with their own proprietary services when you're not really solving the
Which will
overall
fragment
problem.
something that by its very nature benefits from, Java as a platform. Like pretty much all phones now will run Java games, so you can find stuff. It needs to keep going down that route rather than the proprietary
At the
stuff.
same time, the Sony Ericsson P1 that just came out runs Symbian 60.
Yeah.
All right, I think that's enough mobile phone talk for the next month or so.
All I got to say is
Can't say we don't hit everything.
That's
until
right.
Nintendo is working on until Nintendo shows the first details of their iPhone games, that we all know they're working on, then we should.
By the way, John,
table the
drop
subject.
by the Sony Ericsson American site and check out the K850i.
Yeah.
Why don't they name that shit something you can remember? Like
Yeah,
it's
at
like
least
TVs.
like some of them, it's a Katana, and I'd rather that
Yeah.
than the K857-2i.
You already remembered it, K850i.
All right, Patrick is next.
Also, what happened yesterday was that this kind of somebody the way the story leaked out is strange. So basically, Sony has announced that they don't have any more 60 gigabyte PS3s in their warehouse.
Surprise!
They're on shelves. They're not sold out by any means, and they don't expect them to be sold out anytime soon. But they're saying that I have no more in the warehouse, which is they seem to be implying they're not going to make any more.
What do you mean seem to be implying? They've never said anything else.
And
other than that.
Garnett and I were talking a little bit earlier, or I think it's impossible to perceive that they are going to go into Christmas with a $5.99 bundled SKU. I think the whole point of this is that they're going to sell through the 60, drop the price to the $5.99, and introduce a new SKU so they have their dual SKU strategy.
I'm telling you, that is some wishful thinking. That is wishful thinking because there's no motivation to them. Just like all the reasons we were talking about. So one of the things that we brought up was when they dropped the price, they didn't get that much of a sales bump. So if you're going to sell a product, would you rather sell it for $100 more if you're going to sell the same number?
Well, but
Of
like we talked about, the reason behind the sales bump wasn't. I mean, it's not just purely price, right? All of their big games, I mean, as I say big, hopefully big, they're potentially big games are coming out in these next couple months, and this is the holiday season. Like, this is do or die time.
You're making the argument for why they don't need to drop the price because there's all those great games, and it's holidays, and they'll sell it anyway.
No, but you still have comparison to the Wii and Xbox 360 price, so you need to have that lower priced unit.
Their product is superior, remember, as they tell us all the time. Their product's a Blu-ray player. Their product is more technologically advanced. It has the cell processor.
I don't think they're that.
One thing I did think was funny is that Simon Cox, who has my job now, was like trying to get hold of a PS3 to for the office, and Shu called Sony and got him one, and they sent one, and it was a 60 gig with Talladega Nights in it, which is the original shipment.
Nice.
So they're still sitting on stuff from day one.
I still got a couple.
Hey,
left
I finally got my replacement, by the way, this week on Tuesday. So it only took 22 days to get through the whole process.
They should call Microsoft for some tips on that.
Thank God. You know what? It's perfect. No more screaming.
Actually, that's not going so well anymore.
Really?
Yeah. Did you not hear about that? Anecdotally, people are saying it's taken 6 fucking weeks now to get a 360 fixed.
I sent mine off 2 weeks ago, and conceivably I will not get it back in time for Halo 3.
Let's see. That'll be the test.
That's absurd because my stepdad had his Red Ring like over the summer, and it was 3 days. They overnighted him a box, he overnighted it to them, and they overnighted him a replacement.
Well, that was pre-billion-dollar policy, though.
Yeah.
Mine was that way as well, and it was before the...
Yeah, they need to get back on that. You know what Microsoft needs to do? They need to just pony the hell up and do a full-on hardware reset. Just say, you know what? We've done 360 version 1. Here's 360 version 2. Here's what's fixed. Here's what makes it awesome.
What? It would be chaos.
No, it wouldn't.
Yes, it would.
No, it wouldn't.
A recall would destroy the company's.
I didn't say they were recalling it. I didn't say recall it. I said issue.
Listing the revisions.
That's a whole reset.
That's like a recall, but you don't take back the first thing. That's like a recall.
Sony went to PS2 Slimline. That wasn't a recall.
No. But that was a. You're talking about fixing things that conceivably should have been right in the first place.
Maybe you don't admit to fixing them. I'm just saying that's what they should do. They should issue the real perfected.
So you're saying they should iterate on the hardware, which they've already said they're going to do anyway. That's what they're doing.
That's what's coming this fall. That's the Falcon chip.
Speaking of the 360,
we'll see. We'll see about how much different the Falcon chip looks.
Do you have a story in there about the hard drive required or not, or maybe, or?
We can get into it now. I was going to get into it when we talked about Borderlands, about Leipzig, but we can do it now.
Well, we'll just use that. We'll jump right from there into Borderlands.
All right. So basically, Matt Leon, our previous editor, was in a demo with Gearbox to check out Borderlands, and
so talk to real quick. What's Borderlands?
Borderlands is Gearbox's brand new IP that they're working on. It's basically described as a Mad Max Diablo-esque first-person game where the hook is it's 4-player co-op and you can go online, and the game conceivably has 500,000 different weapon types because
reasonable.
What they've done is created a bunch of, it's kind of blurring the line. They created a bunch of base types and accessories, and you can customize it however the hell you want.
Right.
So it's more 500,000 combinations as opposed to 500,000
Forget 500,000. It's customizable weapons.
Yes.
That's cool. Okay.
So it's basically that. It's first-person full-player co-op, and so that's cool. So anyway...
So it's a bit like Rage?
Yeah. It's a bit like Rage without the MotorStorm visuals.
Okay.
And so Matt's in the thing, and they're going through the whole thing. He's talking about how the game was conceived as a PC product, but these days you can't conceivably make money very well just doing PC products unless it's a huge blockbuster hit and it's a new IP. And so they said, when we made the game, how can you make it without a hard drive? And so Matt asked, how could you make this game without a hard drive? And they said, well, I know I don't want to get in the middle of, Randy Pitchford, president of Gearbox, said, well, I don't want to get in the middle of a controversy, but
Here I go.
We're going
Fuck it, I'll do it
we're going to
anyway.
require the hard drive. And Matt was like, oh, kind of like Final Fantasy 11. And he was like, yeah. And I know there was recent stories about how it's for MMOs, and that was kind of a spin. And this is just there's spin involved in all this stuff. And said basically they're going to require the hard drive. And then immediately the lead programmer for the game went on their message boards and explicitly said, we are not going to require the hard drive on Xbox 360.
It's a trap.
I'm sitting here with Don Matrix's gun against my forehead.
Exactly.
It really, I mean, I don't know the
Abort.
politics of it, but something quickly happened behind the scenes. And
I think it probably involved like high caliber weapons.
Microsoft sent some shock troops into Gearbox to.
Right. I mean, your news story has the exact quotes.
It has the
It's really,
transcript.
it's really interesting.
target is Dallas, Texas Gearbox offices.
Right. But I mean, you had the quotes and everything like that. It was.
and basically, it is conceivable that Pitchford was wrong. I mean, like Mark Rain does this all the time, where he says something and then his own dev team corrects him on it.
Right.
And he is the president of the company, so he's pitching the game, but may not necessarily know the intricate details. And yeah, he said he was wrong, and it
he would
doesn't.
know, though.
You think that's a
Being
pretty
the
big,
president of the company.
especially when he says, "I don't want to wade into the middle of a controversy."
He was
here."
very, very specific about it. But yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, you have to give him the benefit of the doubt, and like maybe he just misspoke. But there seems like it's almost one of those things starting to become like where there's smoke, there's fire with the 360
It seems like
and the hard drive.
like step by step, we're getting to the game, which I still am fairly confident will be Grand Theft Auto 4, the first game where it's not going to be Microsoft, because Microsoft will not be the company that comes out with a game.
This is why they ponied up $50 million. Guys, we need you to sit on it for 6 months. It's $50 million.
Yeah.
While we get this hard drive shit sorted out.
Confirmed.
I mean, they said months ago that it was they.
Come on, it's gonna happen. There's
Yeah.
no way it's not going to happen.
Yeah.
And
And
it just come out and be like, all right, sorry.
It's just
core owners.
This is how Microsoft does a lot of these things. And when the price shifted from $50 to $60 at launch for Xbox 360, all of the first party games were $50, and they said, "Well, we're first party. We don't have to pay the licensing fees." As soon as Gears of War came out, it was $60 because that's just they let the third parties take the heat on it, and then they swoop in.
maybe they are just waiting till the 10 gig memory card comes out.
How much
They're
is that?
going to
How much is that
coincide it
gonna
with the
fucking
release of the
cost?
10 gig memory card, and like you don't require a hard drive. Oh, you do need a memory card, yeah, and you need to have the new 10 gig model, but yeah, you don't need the hard drive
Well, if you
anymore.
if you want to save any game, you need some kind of memory. So
Right.
I mean, and like sim memory is getting so cheap. You can get a
It is getting
a 2 gig memory stick for like $10 online now.
Maybe that's
Then
it.
explain to me why those memory cards cost so much.
Look,
It's
people have pitched
ridiculous.
it out there before. I think the answer for them has got to be some sort of rebate program for people who originally.
If you have a core, give them a free hard drive. Problem solved.
There you go.
Yeah, problem solved. Like $2
Well,
billion
you live
later.
in Utopia land.
Yeah.
A small hard
rebate?
drive?
Just-
This is not going to cost $2 billion.
How about you rebate it?
Take every person who bought an Xbox 360 out to dinner and explain to them the problem. Give them the hard drive. What's the problem?
Or at least reduce the price on it.
Rebate.
But the
That's what
price
they
is
should do.
absurd. It's like $200 for the 20 gigabyte.
Yeah, it's real easy. You rebate it, which means that there's going to be a certain percentage of people that don't fill out the rebates and turn them in.
But
so
unless
don't
you
have to
can
worry
say
about
that we gave you the offer and you turned it
Exactly.
down, as
Exactly.
opposed to just saying "fuck you."
That's the
Hey,
way you
everyone
do
that
it.
bought a core, do you know where your receipt is? No. Oh well, sorry.
Look, you don't have to know where your receipt is. That's where they need to like come up front with it, is because they know by your serial number whether you own a core or not.
If your serial number has a 4 in it,
It's like a lottery. They'll have the ball bouncing around. They'll be like, pull the
7.
Yeah, 2.
That's what. Look, we all know that's what they
Jeff
need to do.
Bell
so.
would be pulling out the balls.
he'd be good at that.
He'd be perfect.
Oh, he'd
yeah,
be awesome.
Exactly.
People
Jeff
would love
Bell
it.
pulling out the balls. Yep, I bet he would be good
Welcome
at
to the Xbox 360 lottery experience.
that. That wasn't quite sleazy enough. You
Our
try it
first
again.
number is
Our
2.
first number tonight.
All right. What
So,
else?
Patrick, what was your first trip to Germany? This was your first trip outside of
It's outside of the U.S.
the contiguous 48 states.
Really?
Yeah. I've never been international before.
You got
not
a
even
passport
Canada.
just for this reason?
Yeah, just for this trip, and it was a
He barely got a passport.
barely got a. They told
Wow.
me 48 hours before I left that I wasn't getting one.
And then what happened?
Then I went and just yelled at some people, and they basically made some degrading remarks to Southern people, and then gave me a real passport.
Wow.
What did Southern people have to do
That's
with
where my passport application was. And apparently, the San Francisco office isn't a big fan of the South Carolina office, so they just kind of shuffled that application away and gave me.
What the hell do they have? You know what? I think that's crazy. South Carolina, home of the Gamecocks. How can you be mad at them?
So how was it? How was the show? How was the
The show
ceremony?
it was like going back to E3. Like I went to E3 in July, but this was like going back to E3. You've got this loud
back to the old E3.
The old E3.
Not
the
this
old,
past
not
fall
this new
E3.
E3.
Yeah,
this
yeah,
is the
yeah.
old E3. I mean, but it's way bigger than the old E3. It's in
Whoa.
5 or 6 halls, and they got over 185,000 attendees this year.
Jesus.
Now that's not all at once, but E3 only got up to 60,000.
Right. That sounds kind of
Nightmarish?
terrible. Yeah.
Yeah.
That sounds kind of
why,
awful.
That's why we didn't go the last 2 days.
Right.
And
you know what? That's really common. Actually, I saw Jason Ocampo from GameSpot on the 38 the other day when we were riding into work, and he's like, "Yeah, it was crazy. It's huge, and we really didn't go once they opened to public because it just."
yeah, I mean, everyone treated it like the old E3, where it's where you go for 3 days, and the other 2 days you let the public. Because I mean, it literally is. You paid $15, $20, something like that, and you could bring. There were babysitters bringing their kids in and dragging these infants along and pushing carts and all this stuff. So it was fucking madness, and it was insane by the weekend. But
what E3
I don't know.
did Patrick go to where they let the public in on the weekends?
Well, the last day was kind of de facto, like bring in
That
the
more
kids
or less
in wheelchairs.
they weren't checking. They weren't
Right.
checking your badges at that point.
But I saw, like, Jason's doing a piece. There's a section in the One Up show on the Leipzig stuff, and it did seem like the old E3 stuff. Booth babes, like
Who shot that
outsized
video?
characters.
Oh my God, who shot the booth
the
babe video?
creepy.
Oh,
That is
booth
so
babe
fucking
video.
creepy, dude.
I know,
Hey,
Rob.
you guys did not see the unedited version.
Yeah,
Oh my God.
and I don't want to.
Much creepier.
I told Rob,
Dude.
look, that's what the booth babes are there for. You don't have to hide and follow them into the bathroom.
But at
like-
least give me a picture of their face for a moment.
Right. Well,
I mean, come on.
Following them into
that's
the bathroom?
not. Well, no, but Rob would like wait till they were leaving to go like have a cigarette, and actually that's one of the funnier moments I think it's going to be in the One Up show. But Rob would like wait till they were going to get something to eat, or like when they weren't looking, and then like he thought he had to like snipe it.
Man,
And
it is fully
They're
some
there.
girls.
That's what they're there
in-
for,
They're
Rob.
showing their tits for a reason.
Yes, Rob. The reason they're painted, like their uniforms are literally painted on them,
Oh,
is
God,
not
that
because
girl.
they know everything about the fucking game. Okay, it's not because they're going to give you details on the release date and.
It looks like Girls Gone Wild B-roll. It's hilarious.
And people,
it is hilarious.
People not knowing about the games was actually a really funny story at Leipzig, because we were sitting in on a Knights demo, and the frame rate was like really fucked up and like wasn't running really well. And so Matt Leone asked, or one of the journalists in the room asked, what's up with the frame rate? And the guy's just like, I don't know, it's not my game.
and you're like, that's how refreshing.
Thanks.
Yeah,
You
like
know?
that's so nice to hear.
Whoever that
It
was,
isn't your game.
should have been at PAX, because that was pretty much the PAX approach.
He's like, I don't know, this game looks like shit.
They hired me 2 days ago.
It's like,
I
looked
don't
looked like crap,
Sega?
doesn't it? So speaking of Knights, because Knights to me, from hearing about it before it was announced, it go way up here, way up high, it has fallen so low. Almost anybody.
Wait a
It's
minute, that's
almost,
not me. I mean, it's more like down here.
Everybody's
It's on
it's kind
the
of it's
carpet.
down. We're on the 5th floor now. It's down around 3.5.
Yeah,
Wow.
I mean the game had frame rate issues at Leipzig, and I don't think it would be a big shock if all the rumors of it being delayed to 08 were true, because the game needs it.
Give it some slack though on frame rate, right? I mean, come on, it's early on, right?
Who's developing
How is it early on? It's supposed to come
Sonic
out.
Team USA.
It's supposed to come out this fall.
I don't know. I'm trying to be like.
Give them some slack on a game that people have been pining for God knows how long, and they're totally going to fuck it up.
And people will hate me for saying this, but overrated game in the first place. I'm sorry.
Oh,
I'm
did you
sorry.
just fucking call the original Knights overrated?
Yes. It's a
Wow.
great looking game for its time and very imaginative,
so,
but not that
that's-
great.
Did you play
playing.
it? Who here played it?
Played the Wii game, you mean?
No, played the original.
Oh, I played it, yeah.
Played it.
In the
Got it?
in the upcoming segment, you'll actually hear me cop to the fact that I didn't own a Saturn.
Wow. Shit, they
So
really
you-
did get you
No
to say some
Panzer
stuff.
Dragoon?
No, it sucks. Totally sucks.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's one of the biggest gaming moments of my life that I regret is buying into the PS2 thing and not getting a Saturn.
You mean the PS1?
I mean the PS1 thing, right?
Right,
Buying into
right.
the PS1 thing, just completely
See, I'm
like.
kind of with Mark.
I
never
bought
really...
that, dude. I set that hook so hard, and I was like, Saturn, fuck it.
Knights was at the point where Sega fanboys felt that Sega could do no wrong, and everyone just like pined over it, and it was
Yeah, I mean, it was. I remember.
it was beautiful.
Yeah, it was for its time. It was crazy.
Did
it
you
was
play it with or without the controller?
so amazing with the controller, of course. I mean, I had the fucking Christmas Nights demo from Next Generation. I was into it until I actually, played it, and it's still a good game. It's just not. People talk about Knights in their top 10 of all times. A lot of people
They do.
that I
They're
know,
as revered.
Yeah, people who I otherwise really agree with on a lot of their gaming taste. But anyway, I don't want to spend so much time bagging on original Knights, mostly because I'm already going to get.
You know what? One
tons of
game I
shit
actually
for
did
it.
play a lot on the Saturn. Just a weird aside is Last Bronx. I had a friend.
Whoa,
I had a
really?
friend.
Oh.
I had
Of
a-
all the fighting
I
games
know.
to be playing.
Don't
on the
ask me
Saturn.
why. I had a friend who had it, and we wound up playing Last Bronx all the time.
Woo.
All the time?
So Patrick, what else did you
That
Well,
Daytona.
notable at
We
Leipzig?
we finally got to go hands-on with Killzone 2.
Sweet.
and
Which was exactly how
What it looked
we've
like.
seen. It looks phenomenal. It looks beautiful. I mean,
Kill Life 2.
but you just said you went hands on, and now you're already talking about the graphics again.
well, I mean, it's I'm not down on the
You're not down on the gameplay.
staying in my head.
It's your hair, man. Your hair is
No.
fighting with the equipment here.
mic.
We're gonna
His
have to
hair,
shear
his
you.
hair fights with the equipment. There, that's better.
Okay.
Now we
Is
can
that-
hear you again.
We can hear me again?
Yeah.
All right. So, I mean, we only got a couple minutes hands-on with the game, but before I went on hands-on with the game, they went through the demo 3 times. And so by the time I got sat down and touched the game, I felt like I'd already played it anyway. It plays good. It plays like a really solid, amazing-looking shooter, but the demo is so short and so tight, there was nothing really new to it.
Right. So at this point, I mean, you can take cover. Can you take cover?
Yeah, you can take cover. It's got an interesting cover system where you
Okay.
can lean around things and hide behind things, do blind fire. A lot of things we're seeing develop in first-person shooters now as a result of the whole Gears of War effect.
And how'd that feel? Was it quick and easy? You just kind of got it immediately?
Yeah. I mean, it's very natural, and the game feels phenomenal for the 5 minutes.
Was it
It's
the
just-
scene that they showed at E3 with the thing the lander coming in and then moving down the alleyway and the guys
and
firing
the
out
cool
the
thing
building?
they did with it was when they went through it one of the other times, they would stop it, and they used one of their development tools so they would stop the demo right in the middle while they were hovering in the sky, and they could show you the entire world and what's going on in the geometry, and that none of this stuff is 2D backdrops or not detailed textures. Like every part of the environment has stuff going on.
Does this
And-
remind you of the way they demoed Killzone 1?
A little bit, but what I'm curious to hear about is the AI on the Hellgas, because it looked like scripted with modifiers when they showed it last time. Like, the things would always, they would say, "Oh, you never know where they're going to come from," and the guy would always pour out of the door and then hide behind the pillar. And
It was
shot the
it was
pillar
it was kind of hit or miss, and this is the exact same demo from E3. This is not an updated
Same build. Yeah.
This is nothing changed.
So you
There's
got on the
nothing
alley and you get to the
different.
end of the alley and there's that big pillar and the bullet fire smashes
And
all
they're,
the
and they're
concrete
showing
off
all
it
the
and-
kind of the matrixy effects where you got things blowing up and you can shoot through wood, and there's so many small cool details. But yeah, you couldn't really get a feel for the AI because you'd see them do something cool, like they'd roll and they'd hide, like we've seen, and then they would jump in front of you. So, but it's the nature of an early game, and
Right.
I wouldn't cast anything on the game because of that. It doesn't look spectacular based on the 5-minute demo, but it doesn't look like it nerfs the game in any sort of way.
Okay. What else next? You got a lot of shit to get through, right?
And actually, the first game of the show we checked out was Haze, which the three of us, Sam, Matt, and I, were pretty divided on because we all played different levels from the different kiosks they had set up. And the first level they had set up was the jungle scene that we've all seen a billion times, and it looks beautiful. It looks cool. They had the 4-player co-op up and running, and it was working through the network things. I'm sure it'll be fine online. And then they had this other level that was inside of this building, and it looked atrocious. Like the textures are like early PS2 games, like the frame rate chugging, like there's
Ouch.
these weird effects going on with the visuals. Like it looked absolutely
And they're
atrocious,
demoing-
and they were
they're demoing this
demoing
game?
that, and anyone could walk in and play. This wasn't a personal demo. This was what was on the
So
show
this
floor.
wasn't the nectar effect, like making the game look weird.
Oh,
It
no.
was-
You have to.
It
You
was
have
the
to.
nectar effect. Yes,
Yeah,
definitely
no,
the
because
nectar effect.
the implication in all the trailers is that you're wearing the thing and you got the drug in your system and it's giving you an altered perception. And
Well, you need
it's
to
like-
enable that.
And you need to, all right. So, but it wasn't some crazy effect that it was doing. That was
No,
making it
this
look
was just
shit.
the game looked bad, and they also had a driving sequence that was just all over the place. And the driving sequences they don't feel integrated into the game. They're just kind of, well, let's have some driving levels, and like this is taking you around to the next
bits
area.
of Haze that I've seen where you almost think that they every now and then they get a look at something like Crysis and go, "Ooh, we should do something like that."
It has too much going on.
It does sort of have that feel too, doesn't it? That they keep knocking on. Oh, that's cool.
Wow, there's this bit in Half-Life. We should borrow a bit of that. And Haze, and Crysis has like vehicles and stuff like that, and
they were showing,
powers and drugs, and
they showed this on PS3, right?
Yeah, we were playing it on.
Well,
PS3.
they're only showing. They're only showing
PS3.
Right, so because it's time
quote-unquote
exclusive. But am I nuts here? Like,
Yes.
this is like Assassin's Creed. This was a 360 lead SKU, right?
No, I don't think it ever was.
Not necessarily. Free Radical, who's developing it, the Time Splitters franchise, has always been a very Sony-centric company.
I know, but like, why would they be having so many problems with getting the thing running right? Since if it was a PS3,
I would say I would give the caveat on what we saw is that I think they were showing early stuff, and they wanted to show something different that wasn't just the jungle scene they've been showing every single time.
Props to them for that.
When does the game come out?
It's supposed to be fall,
so
November, but I don't know how they're conceivably going to clean all that up if that's representative of where they're at with all of those sequences.
Right, and the thing with trade shows is you do kind of never know.
Well, I mean, you don't know because like the first 2 days of the show, there was a build of Kane and Lynch, and then they switched the build the third day of the show that had better frame rate, updated levels. So you don't.
Did it not look shit anymore?
It still looks nah. I mean, it's Hitman.
It shit at PAX?
Kane and Lynch, yeah, it's like an Xbox game.
It looks fucking incredible in the cutscenes, and then as soon as the game kicks up, it's like everything kind of comes down a notch.
Big crowds and stuff.
Did you see
big dumb crowds?
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Did you see the nightclub scene?
No, we kind of switching off Haze here, but to go into Kane and Lynch, we saw you come in on the top of the tower at Tokyo by the helipad, you work your way down through the building into the lobby, out from the lobby into the street. So there's two scenes that go from one into the other. And what it was if you follow the tunnel that they're trying to that they are pushing you down, it looks like there's a lot going on and you have a lot of freedom. But once you try to explore the freedom, you realize how utterly controlled it is. So it's a bit like Hitman. I don't know if you ever tried to stray off the path in Hitman.
Right.
Like, you wouldn't be able to, or it would start doing dumb shit, or there'd be someone behind a door that could see you but couldn't interact with you, and it does this. So, we were playing around with it. So you walk out of the building, having shot a bunch of guys, then it's very dramatic. You come out of the building, the cops immediately start shooting at you, which, like, breaks the fantasy because you're actually trying to sneak out with the crowd.
Right.
But the cops know it's you. You know why? Because you have a fucking machine gun on your back.
That's a good way to sneak out. That's actually a very good way to sneak out.
So there's this huge fight and you're running around and it has this weird sticky cover system where if you happen to brush up against a wall, you stick to it.
Stranglehold is kind of that way where if you just like walk up to a counter, all of a sudden you're like,
and you're like,
head first sliding across it.
I didn't want to do that. I just wanted to shoot this guy.
Yeah.
So we cleared out all the cops, and then so the crowd, like, it comes out and they kind of swarm out of the building and they swarm out into the streets and they're screaming and there's explosions, and then they all run off to the left-hand side of the screen and just run around in circles.
They walk over to the wall and then just like stand there.
It's like that.
Wet Hot American Summer.
They circle, and I walked over there and I was like lobbing grenades in the middle of them, and it would explode, and they'd like react to the grenade for a minute and then go back to their circling.
Hey, they're extras. They get paid by.
So there's this whole scene out in the street which is clearly trying to be the gunfight outside the bank in Heat.
Yep.
Like, it's so obvious. There's like cars everywhere and cotton. There's
Shamelessly.
massive. I mean,
it's fine.
But it's definitely an homage to Heat. And I think the whole game is going to be homages to different sort of, particularly Michael Mann movies,
action movies. There'll be the Miami Vice scene.
Yeah, there'll be all that, and there's some Matrix stuff in there as well. But so you're in this huge street, and you think, oh wow, we can go anywhere, and we can pick people off, but each end of the street is barricaded, and there's cops behind it. And if you shoot at the cops, they take like 20 hits, and they don't notice that you're shooting at them.
Oh boy.
And
if you're outside their awareness range.
If you're outside their awareness range. And the other thing is, they start giving you weapons with longer and longer range. They give you a sniper rifle. So you've cleared everyone out, and you're trying to head all the way down to the end of the street to get to this bus station where this other gaggle of cops are, and you clear them out, and then you escape. So you get the sniper rifle, and you work your way up onto this bridge, and you go, I know, I'm going to hold back. And you got 3 guys with you. So I'm going to hold back. I'm going to pick off the cops and send my guys forward. But you can hold back so far that as you're shooting people with the sniper rifle, they're just not aware that you're shooting at them. So they just sort of flinch.
And little blood comes out, and then they just stand there.
And they're just going to stand there and eventually...
Like, man, these mosquitoes.
Yeah.
I know. Horrible.
So it's like
a 308.
Any illusion of being this sort of huge, free, sort of big criminal, like this big crime scene kind of thing going on, gets completely shattered, like, at this point. And the game is like a month and a half away.
And one of the weird things is you don't die. You die, but you can pick up the moment where you died.
They just put this adrenaline jab into you. But you can die actually because you can get they put so much adrenaline into your system that it resets it and it says you.
So that's the live.
That's
system.
the life system.
You know, John, I wouldn't be surprised if this didn't come out this fall.
No, I think it'll come out. The thing that got me is
I
that
wouldn't be surprised.
it looks like an Xbox game. It's got shitty geometry and low-res textures, and I mean, it does some great stuff with like Haze and like Killzone, where bits of the scenery are shattering, and there's a bit in the office building where there's glass smashing everywhere, and like these big sculptures with lumps of the cement coming off them and things breaking.
It's another one of those games that's focused so much on this like background tech stuff that has these really cool little details, but at the end of the day, they're missing like the game. But the Hitman games are pretty hit or miss too. I don't have a love affair with the Hitman games. They were cool, but they weren't. I don't know. They didn't do that much for me.
Kane and Lynch, February. Wait.
You think? You're doing that with this weird eyebrow thing, Garnet? That makes me think you know something.
That's what I heard. Yeah, that's what I heard. So anyway, how about like Gran Turismo? Let's talk about something different. Damien got to go play Gran Turismo, and dude, I read his preview, and I was so jealous.
Yeah, I'm not the one to look to talk. I don't play sim games.
Did you at least see it?
I saw it. It looks really spectacular. But actually, the funniest thing about Gran Turismo was when Damien went to an interview with Kazunori, and he was demoing GT5, and he plays with the D-pad.
Dude, he fully played with the D-pad and the face button.
What? You spend all this time implementing this like really sensitive, analog stick controls, and you play with the
most
D-pad.
Precise, maybe
Kazunori's old school.
Yeah.
I guess he is.
Old school right there. He also said he'd never played Forza 2 at all.
No,
at
because
all.
we were asking him, Forza's doing all of these really interesting community features. Are you guys looking to do that?
I think that's kind of silly of him. Like, why would you?
Irresponsible.
Yeah.
Shane and I had this argument at PAX while we were going up an escalator.
I think as a guy who's sort of, in charge of arguably the most important first-party game franchise, that he should be absorbing every single fucking racing game on the planet.
Yeah, I agree.
And at this point, they Palavoni Digital has not proven they know fuck all about online design, so they should be looking at the kinds of games that are doing the future of like online
at every opportunity.
Yeah.
Well, there is that. But, it's going to play 16-player online, right?
Supposedly.
What do you mean supposedly? Dude, that's going to be...
They've dropped it every single time. Why should I have any confidence this time around?
Every single time was once. I mean, to be fair.
Where's GT Mobile?
That's a damn good question. Where is GT Mobile? Obviously,
I'm sure it'll be online.
Whenever you talk about GT on PSP or anyone from Sony, they kind of cough and look the other way. What? I'm sorry.
They're like, what's that over there?
Well, you know what?
Have you seen Killzone?
They were lucky with PSP because when they brought out PSP, they had other games to like jump into the fold, like Wipeout, and you got to check out Wipeout HD at least, right? While you were there.
Oh, we saw, yeah, and it looks damn good. I mean, it looks exactly what everyone wants.
Which Wipeout is it? It's Wipeout.
It's mixes of both. I think mostly it pulls from the first one, which was the first one Pulse.
The first one on PSP?
Yeah.
So it's a remake of the PSP game mixed
it basically uses that as the base, and then it kind of takes a little bit from both games. But it's mostly Pulse.
That's
HD
good.
graphics. Looks good. It'll be downloadable. They wouldn't talk about price. That'll be something interesting to see what happens post Warhawk.
$39.99.
Yeah, seriously.
So look, here's the question I want to know, because looking at the screens, I can't quite tell what it's like in motion, which is, does it still, even in HD, does it still have that cool...
You didn't see it at E3?
No, I didn't.
Oh, it's slick as hell.
Yeah, it's just really clean. It's really
That's what I was
ridiculously
ask.
clean.
They didn't feel the necessary...
It's even more Tron kind of vibe,
awesome.
like super,
that's
like
what
60 frames a second, rock solid, like really clean. Not many textures.
No, they're not spending any time turning this into a Wipeout pseudo PS3 game. This is just they're taking what's good, they're making it look fucking amazing for what it is, and they're gonna put all those resources into the next gen
I
game.
still feel like Wipeout was designed completely around the PlayStation 1. And
really?
And every Wipeout since then, and they've had some really good ones, even on the PSP. PSP, it's great. Still designed around the PS1. That's cool. But I think it's kind of a time for a rethink. Not like a total reboot, but hey, we are now on way more powerful hardware. Let's not just not up-res the textures and stuff like that.
See, I agreed with you on the PS2 stuff. The PS2 stuff definitely felt like just an extended extension of the PS1.
You didn't like Fusion?
I liked it, but I can see where Mark's coming from as far as they were still making a PS1 game and just upscaling it to PS2.
I'm just saying,
But PSP, man, the PSP game really felt like a new beginning for that franchise.
see, to me, it felt like the ultimate, like, great on-the-go version of what you loved about the original. And I'm not saying, it's going to be Mario 64 to Mario 3, but I'm saying maybe it's time for some more fundamental changes, at least to get me excited about it as somebody who's like a casual Wipeout fan.
I don't really want all my old favorite games like that just completely like junked and redone, though. I mean, we had this argument about Sega Rally. Like, it's still Sega Rally, but it's still Sega Rally, which is cool.
But you know what? I think having played, just to hop around all over the place, having played Revo, I would rather go download Sega Rally and Sega Rally 2 on Xbox Live Arcade than drop the full price on Revo, which is essentially the same thing, just looks prettier.
This whole subject of changing games has been a big topic, like in the music game business, because we've been talking about obviously Rock Band a ton. I know, though, you were checking out Guitar Hero, and people, are we too quickly writing off Guitar Hero 3?
Wait,
no.
Who's writing off Guitar Hero 3?
I think there's a popular notion out there that Rock Band is going to dominate Guitar Hero 3.
But we've talked about it.
We've talked about it.
Right.
No.
I'm talking about for the audience, but we've talked about it.
In Mindshare, I think that's true, and I think it's happening. I mean, Rock Band, you guys were at PAX, where Rock Band was like, there was a line around.
It was insane.
But in Mindshare, yes, but in sales numbers.
Let's not talk about...
Right.
So let's talk about critically, though. You played it, right?
It's the same old thing, but the argument is whether that's a bad thing. Probably not. I don't think the mainstream cares that it's just an expansion pack with some. There are. Neversoft's doing the boss battles. Like, I don't think anyone really on the hardcore side that just wants to play like us cares about that too much. But it is essentially just Guitar Hero 3. It doesn't fuck it up. It's got master tracks. It's cool. It's fun. I was actually pissed at their setup, but that's a whole separate story. Because
no. Why were you pissed at their setup?
So they have this setup where they have they bring people up on stage and they would have these kids play, and then they would get like a bunch of awkward nerds come up and be the mosh pit for them. It was really, really embarrassing. And
you had to be an awkward nerd. And
you had to be an awkward like that. You had a Wii hat on, and
you must be at least this nerdy and awkward.
They had a little thermometer they stuck in your mouth, and it gave like a
at least they put it in your mouth.
Yeah.
What?
Hey-yo. All right.
Hey-yo.
And so I wanted to go and play the game because this is still the second convention where I just haven't gotten to play Rock Band, but I wanted to at least play Guitar Hero 3 to see how it stacked up to the old ones. And I go up to play it, and immediately I pick up the guitar, strap it on.
Leather pants.
I've switched in front of the kiosk into the leather pants, and I go to click the Pearl Jam song, and they turn the TV off. I'm like, what? And they're like, oh, stage show. And I was like, oh, okay. So like they get these kids up there and they're playing. I let them
You're
go.
like, do you know who I am? You said it in German too. Like,
how do you say it?
I can't.
Understanding?
I won't go any further.
And so I was like, well, fine, maybe I'll let you guys do your stage show. And so then like 2 or 3 songs in, people are getting restless. They want to play the fucking game that's sitting there. So people start picking up the guitars and turning on the TVs, and they didn't do anything. It's like, oh, I'm going to go walk over and I'll play now. I get through about half of the Pearl Jam song, and the guy taps me on the shoulder, and he turns off the TV again, takes the guitar off of me, and he goes, show. And I was just like, fine, I didn't want to play your stupid game anyway, and just walked away and came back an hour later.
Prima donna.
Excellent PR work at the Leipzig Game Show. Fantastic
I know, you want
stuff.
people to see your show, not the game that they're going to buy. But the game works. It's Guitar Hero 3. Enough said, basically. They didn't screw it up.
So crazy enough, I heard that the biggest crowds were at Wii Sports.
Yeah.
Really?
What the fuck?
We walk in, and there's kind of a good line for the Mafia 2 trailer, and there's people checking. There's like nobody in Microsoft's sand beach setup, and everyone is waiting in line to play Wii Bowling or Wii Tennis. I don't even have an explanation for you except that.
What are these people?
The fuck?
Are these people like 60 something? I mean, what's the crowd?
They were German.
Yeah.
It was mostly younger kids. The lines for that started the third day when the public was, or the second day when the public was allowed to start coming in. Mm-hmm. That's when the lines for Wii started, and that's when you started seeing lines of 15, 20 people waiting just to play Wii Sports.
So did you get a feeling, like, besides that at the show, like, what kind of feeling did you get about the Wii and it's like
I think the way Nintendo set it up was very telling, was that if you wanted to play Metroid, if you wanted to play Mario, those were behind a curtain. Everything that Nintendo had set up was Touch Generations, Wii Fit, Wii Sports.
Didn't they just announce like 1 million in, was it Europe or the UK?
Yeah, in the UK.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it was very much, we have these hardcore games if you want to seek them out, but this is not what we're pushing on you.
Yeah.
So was it like E3 where probably the most crowded booth, the biggest crowds ended up being at back the way E3 used to be,
Right.
when they allowed like not officially the public in, but was it where like did you get that sense of excitement and everyone was kind of headed towards there, or was it kind of like the way that the enthusiasts?
Well,
have
the way
been?
the interesting thing about Games Convention is that it's set up in 6 different halls, and then there are also business halls where we did a lot of our meetings, so it was separate from where they had their booth set up.
You had
So
the
really,
mix with the dirty
exactly,
commoners. Yeah.
exactly, and so you didn't. It wasn't that crowded. Nintendo's was clearly the most crowded of anywhere that wasn't giving away a T-shirt or whatever the fuck, freebie. But it wasn't really that crowded. But Nintendo's area of all the halls was the most crowded, and the most crowded kiosk was Wii Sports.
Interesting. Any other games that drew humongous
Dude, I can tell you, like,
crowds?
from online at least, like, the most trafficked preview that we put up from Leipzig was Spore. Spore.
Yeah.
People are pining for that game. It is amazing.
Yeah, Sam got to sit in on a 45-minute demo that we tried to work in doing again because he just came back, like, jaw on the floor. He walked in. They said, here's the game. We're going to give you a couple cheat codes so you can see stuff later on, but spend 45 minutes screwing around, and that's what he did. And it's hard because when he was describing the game to us, and you'll see in the One Up Show segment when he's talking about it, it sounds boring as hell.
What the hell is it? What the hell is Spore?
That's kind of the question, and the way he described it, I was doing this Pac-Man game as a one-cell organism, and then I was hitting this monster. It really sounds boring, but what makes Spore what it is the experience of being able to do pretty much, and it's that open-ended experience.
Well, like
John, did that explanation get you anywhere other than Pac-Man and then attack
you know
people?
what? But describe like The Sims, like anybody when The Sims came out. Like,
yeah, why
describe that?
Why
to somebody.
is that fun?
Like, it's great. I go to work, I come home, I go to sleep, I eat, I go to the bathroom. It's awesome. Like, I think it is.
It's the same thing.
It is awesome when you get to go to the bathroom. I think that's fantastic.
From what I know of it, it sounds like that kind of thing where it's not exactly just the play mechanics. It's not like, it's like GTA, it's like this, it's like that, but it's like the whole.
It's how it all comes together.
Right.
And that's exactly how Spore works.
It's the evolution of an organism to a more advanced organism. That's like the whole.
Yeah, and then once you get to certain civilizations, now you can stream your planet online, and your organisms go on to other people's planets and stuff like that, and you can get into wars with other people's planets, but not interfere with their game. It all uploads to one seamless world, and then you can pull stuff from that.
It's like a giant meta game.
Yeah, really.
Interesting. It's going to be weird to see how that comes together. And speaking of planets, Little Big Planet, was that there? Did you get a chance to check that out?
Yeah, it wasn't anything really different that we've seen. It was kind of like Spore. They said, we've shown it to you before. Why don't you just screw around with it now?
They didn't show enemies in this?
I think that's at TGS.
Yeah,
That's
TGS, they
they're gonna
said
do
they're
that?
going to be showing.
TGS when they show
new
the
stuff.
boss creator
Right,
and
because that's when
the
you really have an
enemies.
indication of the kind of game that you're going to be able to
Yeah.
make.
Right. They mostly just gave Matt Leon the controller and said, create stuff for 15 minutes. He said it was fun, but it wasn't really anything we haven't seen
I've
before.
said it before. I'm so eager to see
Any
that
indication of when the beta's going to go out or the demo?
No,
Is that supposed to be this year?
It's supposed to be this year.
Yeah.
But maybe that'll be something TGS or as we go into the fall.
I am
but
so
I
eager to
can't
play
wait.
with that game. I cannot wait to see it at TGS. I mean, I'm not going to be there probably, but I cannot wait to see what comes out of TGS on, and I can't wait to see the game. Period. It's
Me too.
man, Little Big Planet. I don't know why. Just like since the first time I saw it, the characters, the idea, the whole thing, it struck a chord with me like right away.
Me too. Yeah, absolutely.
Patrick, on this list of games we have down here, next to Battlefield, you have awesome.
Yeah, I saw Battlefield Bad Company. It was literally my favorite game that I saw at the show.
Really?
Yeah.
Holy shit, really?
Holy cow.
No, I didn't get to play Rock Band, but that would have been by default anyway.
See,
so
the guys from DICE are very close in Europe, so they brought over some Euros. They took Patrick out with some strippers.
I
and
wish.
Some vodka.
a couple absinthes.
Yeah.
But basically, I really was a big fan of the game Red Faction on PS2.
With Geomod technology?
Geomod technology.
The
And
original, not the.
the original,
sequel?
not the sequel, the terrible sequel. So basically, Battlefield Bad Company is an evolution of Geomod realized as what Volition wanted to do with the first Red Faction, where you can blow the shit out of anything. There are no constraints. There is nothing stopping you from doing whatever you want, whenever you want. When you die and you come back, you just respawn with all the damage still there, and you can continue to just causing a fuck
So if
ton
you
of
want to
damage.
blow a hole through a mountain,
No, the question
you
is.
can just keep going.
They didn't have any mountains in the demo.
question,
Maybe.
Question is Tunnel to China. Can you do it? Yes or no?
didn't ask.
Because the first game that can do that, that's going to be a big bullet point. Yes, you can tunnel to
all the
fucking
way
China.
through the earth.
Take the rocket launcher, just start shooting straight down. Boom.
But the thing about Red Faction was that is you would run into these limitations where you could shoot so far through a wall and then it would stop.
Right.
Or you were the only one deforming the environment. The enemies were all running in their AI patterns to try and get through doors.
I'd say that was the bigger problem.
This game doesn't do that. The enemy, like when the end of the demo is with this giant tank that rolls in, and you can't hide behind anything because as you're sitting and reloading or trying to set up an airstrike, it's blowing the hell through the doors and just shattering parts of. You'll be standing on the third floor, and all of a sudden you'll fall to the first floor because they've shattered.
That sounds to me like a game changer. Like,
yep,
you're so used to, it's ingrained in you to hide behind things.
You need your shield to recharge, so I'm going to hide behind that wall.
Okay, maybe a barrel will be indestructible, maybe a wall will be destructible, but not like the whole building is not going to be destructible. If everything is destructible, like that would be like a game changer.
It sounds to me like this is what Lucas thinks they're doing with Fracture.
Please don't open that story.
It's what
Fractures is more environmental, whereas this I think is less. Like I don't think you can dig to China because it's not the environment. It's everything in the buildings. It's the stuff that matters to the gameplay as far as a straight shooter goes.
It's still a Battlefield game though, right?
It is building upon the sandbox game. They have a single player, but in multiplayer, I think is where this is going to become really, really cool because you can't hide behind anything. And if there's a barrel in front of a house, it's not going to take out the whole house like it usually does. It takes out a chunk of the house or takes out just one of the wooden banisters, and then you can go hide in that part of the house. But then someone can chuck a grenade and take out that part of the house, and you're just running around. And there are so many. The game with the demo they showed us was not very extensive, but if they what they have at the core it opens up so many possibilities, and it's coming in the spring.
Oh, really?
It's coming in the spring.
The one thing I have learned from watching DICE over the years, those guys are development demons. They fucking crank out the code. They get their idea, they gel it, they perfect it, and they crank out code. They flat can't. By the way, Mark, I have to note, I wrote it down right here. Dude, you have your first one up yours thing already. You have your first one up yours thing. The Mark McDonald game changer.
There you go.
That's a Mark McDonald game changer. Which
TM.
Kind of TM. Yeah, you
that's
should totally,
right.
You should
send me a nickel every time you use that. Apparently, people are glommed onto terrible, which I also accidentally started using.
So what else? What should we wrap up with on the Leipzig? Anything you want to pull us out of here? I know Sam was hot for Simpsons. You weren't so big on it, I guess.
Midnight Club?
No, it looks good. Midnight Club also. The one thing we pulled out of Midnight Club was Rockstar was really being coy and hinty with.
Really? Rockstar?
Yeah,
no.
Saying that Midnight Club is part of a world that they're building. Like it's like they're somehow going to connect the universes of their games or something like that, so they're all part of one. I don't know.
You're going to stop, get out, play ping pong, and then get back in your car, go do a drug deal.
Then
I'm going to the
go
hooker.
Kill some people.
Yeah, why not? They're all
it
using
sounded
the
like
same
some
engine,
stupid
right?
meta shit that'll never happen. But they
difference
were trying. They were trying
Well,
to say.
this is obviously going to get sort of misinterpreted as Midnight Club and GTA are in the same world, but they're not, because Midnight Club is real world, right?
Yes.
Yeah, that's what I say. That's what I was about to say. Midnight Club is LA.
It's called LA.
It's
yeah.
LA, and it looks really. I mean, the LA part is very convincing.
That's right. Yeah, you guys talked about that a little bit last week. Did we talk about that?
Yeah, we talked about it because it's in the Rage engine, and obviously you can tell the Rage engine was built to do big open worlds, and that's what it does really well, which is especially apparent when you do the whole zoom from street level out to the 3D map and back.
Well, they've always done real cities, but they always did like sort of crazy stylized versions of it.
So they weren't bound by the street or like
San Francisco
sort of
Rush versions.
Yeah,
of
like you could race around Paris, and suddenly the pyramid at the Louvre is a huge jump. You know,
we're going to talk about it. We're going to talk about it on the other side of the break when we talk about PAX stuff where we played Need for Speed, Pro Street. But I tell you what, they got their work cut out for them. I am really impressed by Pro Street from this last playing at PAX. I was really happy with it. The controls felt really good. It was beautiful. They finally got their frame rate under control. It was running really well in that desert scene. I don't know. I think I think the Midnight Club has its work cut out for it, challenging Pro Street.
Interesting.
So, anything else from Leipzig? Did you enjoy the beer?
I did. I made the fatal mistake of
Drinking a light
circulating
beer?
a picture, which was the first beer I had in Germany,
Yeah, that was a
not
little-
knowing what any of the beers meant, because I don't speak German, and didn't realize that, like, if it says hell, that means it's dark and stuff like that. And I figured it out. I had one light beer. After that, it was all dark.
Hey, there's nothing wrong with light beer.
Yeah.
It is when you're in
Don't-
Germany.
Don't let John.
If you're
It is when you're in
pansy.
Germany.
Patrick, I've known many girls that drank light beer. It's okay.
I had absinthe and dark beer the rest of the trip.
No,
He did.
I'm sure you were shooting heroin from that. you drank that light beer, but then after that, you were just
I got
smoking
totally
crack.
fucked.
Yeah, man.
So it's all right because we were getting in trouble at PAX quite a bit. Like John said, we went to Vessel, and then the night before we went to some place called the Nightlight, which was
Seedy as hell.
no, dude, come on, it wasn't seedy as hell. It was clean. It was
No,
reasonably.
it wasn't.
I got some phone calls.
I don't know. I have different opinion of seedy as hell. Maybe.
I got some phone calls Friday night at PAX that I did not answer because
Really?
I knew exactly what they were. I'm like, I'm not fucking answering this drunk dialing shit here. But it sounds like everybody had a really good time.
Dude, it was great. Che was out. It was so good to see for Che. Che, if you're listening, dude, it was really good to see you, man. It was. We had a good time.
Shane was. I mean, it's too bad Shane is on in the thick of deadline, but he can't talk about it. But I picked him up from the airport, and he hadn't been to PAX before.
I hadn't been to PAX before.
Oh, really?
No, that was my first time too.
So I mean, he was really surprised at the outpouring of just general love. I mean, he was surprised about a lot of things, but one of the things he was surprised about was the general outpouring of love
Amazing.
for the One Up Yours.
That part was doing, without sounding silly, doing One Up Yours live in front of you guys who are listening was in the top 3 events of my life so far. It was amazing. It was, I don't know, I just pulled top 3.
Now all our minds are like,
what are the
I don't know
other
what the
two?
other top 2 were. Like, first time you got laid and first time you got high and One Up Yours live in front of a live audience.
One
I'm
up
not
yours,
gonna- I'm not gonna
live and high.
I'm not going to ask you to rank those 3, like which order they fell
Dude,
in.
laid at the
We'll
top.
just
Come
say-
on.
we'll
Laid
just say
at the
top
top.
3.
Oh,
We'll just
no,
say
dude,
top
Can,
3.
can numbers 1 and 2 have sort of subgenres?
yeah, they might actually have
One of those is a
subgenres.
little hazy.
But yeah, I've seen, we're putting the video up, but I saw part of it already, and it seems like people had some good questions. You guys open it up early. You're going
Good.
to hear about afterwards.
Good.
Yeah.
It was amazing. Let me tell you what, the audience to this show is by far way above anything I ever anticipated. You guys are amazing. You guys are amazing.
One
That's
of the
all I'm going to say. You guys are amazing.
Were you guys shitting your pants at all? This
Dude,
is a
that
little
was
bit different
crazy.
than sitting inside this
so we
room.
Yeah.
we got there. And we'd been told it was in Theatre B, and Theatre
Right.
B was a corner with some chairs in front of it.
Yeah.
theater was in quotes. That
Yeah.
was your first.
Yeah.
So was the
warning
definitely
sign.
in quotes.
Yeah.
So the session before One Up Yours was Midway demoing Stranglehold, and there was a bunch of people
was
there.
packed.
It was packed.
It was packed.
So we get there like 10 minutes before the stranglehold thing had finished, and one of the enforcers, which was the PAX staff,
Right.
came over to her and she goes, all the people here for Stranglehold are actually here for you guys. They just wanted to sit on Stranglehold so they could get a good seat.
And you guys are like, oh fuck.
I was
and
like,
then-
Where's that bottle?
People kept coming and coming and coming, and like there were about 100 chairs. They were all full, and then it was sort of packed out to the walls, and it was like slowly filling up all the way back to because it was on like a landing at the top of an escalator in a corner, and it was like people just kept turning up. So Kathleen went out to warm people up and she got people singing the One Up Show
it was
theme
fantastic.
song.
She got him singing the One Up Show theme song.
I saw that. Yeah.
It's fantastic.
And then we were like,
Yeah.
okay, we're going to go out there. And, me and Luke were a bit buzzed. And we were like, fuck it. And we come up and we lean up. As we're walking up the steps onto the stage, Luke leans forward. He goes, fucking hell, that's a lot of people.
So overall, like,
Would you do it again?
We'd do it
impressions, like,
again.
surprising, like good points, not points. Was
No
anybody
bad points.
Quiet.
I would have
Anybody-
done it again the next day. I would have done it for another hour, and
One Up Yours World Tour?
We needed to be sitting closer together.
yeah, we need to be. Well, so the presentation wasn't perfected, but that was just
Right,
because that's what PAX had set up. We didn't have a lot of control over
Right.
that part.
You guys need to be all cuddling, four-man hug.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Of
Like we
course.
do, like
But,
we are right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You
was
can't
good.
see it.
It was good having Luke back on. That worked really well.
Yeah, Luke. I just saw a little part of it, but it was like, oh yeah, that's right. That's
And the
what
other
Luke
thing,
is-
the other thing about the live version of One Up Yours is you got to see something that we never actually commit to the podcast, which is all the bullshit that we go through before Garnet says hello and welcome to One Up Yours.
The
Which
stuff
I'm
I
gonna
thought he
leave.
wasn't recording this time.
I actually was recording this time, but I'm going to leave that in the next segment. So,
So
when we come back,
usually
we're gonna get all that.
when we come down to do the podcast, we spend about 10 minutes like with the headphones on and Garnet trying to get the levels, and it starts off civil, like, so what have you been doing, and slowly turns into abuse, and it gets kind of sexual.
It goes
Drinks are poured.
Dick fart and fuck jokes. I mean, that's pretty much the way it goes.
You miss your dick jokes. That's where they all went.
Yeah,
If you're wondering where they went, that's where.
And on One Up Yours Live, you get about 5 minutes of, well, actually, Luke and Shane really going at each other, which was pretty awesome.
It was awesome. So that's what you're going to get when we come back in just a minute. And again, silly as it sounds, audience, you guys, listeners, man, not only were you great to us, you were great to each other. Everyone was really, really, I mean, the vibe was so positive. It was a great thing. I will tell you that if we have the opportunity to do that again, we're down for it.
Did anybody take my advice and have any gotcha questions, like where they went back through the audio logs?
No one did that.
Damn.
No one really did that.
Next year, listeners.
I'm gonna wear like a costume.
You'll have a
come up
mustache
armed
on.
with them.
So before we cut to the show, I do want to thank Mike and Jerry and Robert
Absolutely.
at Penny Arcade for letting us do that.
Absolutely, yeah.
Great guys.
It was great. I mean, we were surprised that they said yes when we suggested it, but it worked out great. So thanks, guys.
And if you're just listening and you haven't had a chance to go check it out yet, go over to GameVideos.com, where there is actually a video that we have of the entire debauchery right there for you, captured from PAX 2007. Historical moment.
There you go.
That's what you're going to get in just a minute. Stick around. We'll be right after the break with that, and the rest of us, we're going to go enjoy a Labor Day weekend. Hope you'll enjoy your Labor Day weekend too. Garnet Lee for John Davison, Mark McDonald, Patrick Klepek. Stick around for the rest, and we're gone.
This One Up podcast is brought to you by 2K Sports Ultimate Fantasy Sweepstakes. Pick your dream team, win a dream prize. Sweepstakes ends September 10th. Enter now at contest.oneup.com.
Jeez, dude. God.
Hot mic.
This is very formal.
Yeah, can I get a mint or something? Shane and I need
We'd
a
like
mint.
to welcome you all
You
here
need a
today
mint?
to lecture you on Shed.
I got a mint for you, Luke. You want one?
Yeah.
It's not. Oh wait, I got Halo gum. I got the Halo 3 gum. You want some of that?
Yeah. Can I
I
have
don't know
a
if
piece
you
of
guys
Halo gum?
got this. There's these Halo 3 chiclets. You only get 2, but they're free.
Hey, nice pop. You could like watch.
How awesome are they, Luke?
I'm sorry, what?
How awesome is Halo 3 gum?
It's awesome.
Is it gum of the year?
It's you can chew it cooperatively.
I want you to know he's been saving that joke for like 30 minutes. He's been like, gum of the year.
Is it 4-player co-op gum?
The pizzas are kind of small, but I mean, if you want to split them with your friend, you can. That's cool.
Is that a microtransaction?
It's free, like PSN.
It's free.
Well, I was going to say let's start the show, but I guess we already did.
Yeah, I gotta say, Luke, it is a great pleasure and honor to have you back with us up here. We've missed you a lot.
It's good to be back.
All right, so that's it right there. Weekend confirmed, as we like to say. This is the One Up Yours podcast live from PAX. I'm Garnet Lee. This is...
John, in front of a very large number of people. Hi! So I really wanted to get something recorded for like a break when we do the show. And so when we shout one, will you shout up yours back at us? Are you ready? Ready? One!
Up yours!
Yeah! I think we should do that again.
The power you wield, John, it's impressive.
Do you want to do it?
No, I don't want to do it.
Luke, you want to do it, right?
It's kind of like when you tink glasses at the wedding. Like the first time, it's cool to watch the people kiss, but like a few times after that, you're kind of like, enough already. Just go do it. God.
And you guys wonder why we never make it through the intro. Go ahead and do the introduction.
Oh.
You got to finish so I can do the rundown.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Well, hi, I'm Shane Bettenhausen, Executive Editor of Electronic Gaming Monthly, and I'm very happy to be here at PAX. So, thank you.
Who's that guy on the end there?
And I'm special guest Luke Smith.
So special.
From Bungie Studios.
Hey,
and
where do you
producer, creator, and director of the Bungie Studios podcast.
That's a nice shirt you have.
iTunes.
Luke, did you have to wear that shirt today?
I chose to wear it. I think it's a very stylish
just
and hip
checking.
shirt.
I'm the only one who had to wear a shirt today.
Yeah, that is a beautiful shirt, Garnet.
That's not just a beautiful shirt. That is actually the one shirt. It's the shirt to rule all shirts.
But actually, Garnet, that shirt's pretty sexy, but I gotta say, your shoes are a little hotter. In fact, earlier today, an unnamed female PR representative said that she called them your fuck me pumps, and she said they're really fucking hot.
I'm just hoping they'll work later.
I just gotta say.
Do not want.
I hope not.
So what are we doing here today, Garnet? What are we talking about?
So here's what we're doing today. We're going to do what you've been playing at PAX up front. And then, as quickly as we can get to it, we have a little microphone right here for you guys. And it's really going to be your show like we've always promised. You're going to be able to come up and, well, within reason, ask us some questions.
Thanks, Luke.
Sorry.
We'll limit the how awesome was that questions to a couple or something.
And Luke cannot talk about Halo 3 at all.
Don't ask me about Halo 3. I'm not going to talk about it. I don't want to talk about Halo.
He's sick of Halo.
I'm not sick of Halo. I'm just not here to talk about it.
Well,
I'm here to celebrate John.
Yes.
John Davison.
Yeah, as you may or may not know, John is leaving our happy One-Up family. However, the good news is he's going to continue to appear on the One-Up Years podcast. So that is good news.
Shane, I think I should tell you right now that the horse head has made it into the audience.
Awesome.
I offered that guy $10 for that horse head.
So I got that horse head. It was at an E3, and I got back to my room at 2 a.m. really drunk, and it was waiting for me on my bed for some reason. I think EA were trying to tell me something.
If you put it on eBay, we'll know.
Yeah. And I gave it to Jen. Is Jen Frank here?
Super Jen over there.
I gave it to her to give away here, and Shane's all pissed at me now.
I wanted that. Those are very rare.
Yeah, he'll pay you good money for that.
$10.
Oh my God! What are we doing on the show?
Good money, $10. Don't spend it in one place. All right, so let's talk about some games. What have you been playing out there on the floor, John?
Me?
Yeah, what have you been playing?
You want me to start? I played Kane and Lynch. Anyone play Kane and Lynch?
How about out there? Play Kane and Lynch?
It's IDOS's new two dudes fighting together, but they're not gay, right? That's Army of Two. That's the gay one, right?
It's four dudes.
Four dudes.
Four dudes fighting each other.
And they're not gay?
They don't like each other.
Right.
No.
How do you think he got his nose broken?
Yeah. I thought it looked alright. Did anyone else play it? Did you guys play it?
I did not play
Luke
it.
Didn't play it.
I just got here. I'm just here for this.
You know, we both. I don't know. I played it, and I got to say, it looks like a great Xbox game.
Oh.
It looks like a great Xbox game.
Like Xbox One game?
Little bit.
Yeah, late cycle of Xbox One game.
Garnet, you need to stay on your mic more, dude. I'm getting a lot of Shane in the monitors and not enough G.
Garnet, you're a little.
Am I right?
You need to be up here.
Yeah.
That's right.
Speak up, young man.
All right, I'll stay up on the mic more. Is that better for you?
Yeah.
Better, yeah, I like it.
I wanted it to be better for you.
You just put your lips around it.
Do not want.
Well, no, I didn't play Kane and Lynch.
Something for you to dream about, Shane.
I played Kane and Lynch. I played Castle Crashers.
Okay, everybody's applauding for that.
A lot of Castle Crashers.
Wasn't that game supposed to come out like a year ago?
But now I think it's still coming another year from now, I think.
Like, what's taking so long?
Isn't it just like the one dude just masterminding the whole thing by himself?
Rockstar development, old school style. I mean, it looks pretty awesome.
But one dude made this game called Everyday Shooter, and that went from like conception to coming out in less than 2 months.
Do you complain when like Prince takes 4 years to make a record, dude?
Prince's new record's pretty shitty, so hopefully he should spend some more time
it just takes a long time to create awesome when you're creating awesome on your own.
I guess.
It's always better when it lasts longer.
What else do we play? We played some stuff yesterday.
Well, we played the Need for Speed, and we also played PGR, and we decided that between the two, PGR makes us bored, and Need for Speed's still pretty fun.
Wait. For PGR 4, do they have the new Geometry Wars Wave here? No?
I don't know. That might actually make it a lot more exciting.
Because they announced that. It's like, it's only in PGR 4. It's not going to be on Xbox Live Arcade. That sounds interesting to me. But
what's that going to last, like 6 months? Come on.
We'll see.
Oh, we have this great part in our game. We're not going to sell it to you.
they want you to buy PGR4.
Strategery.
Very much.
Yeah, Luke, can you tell us more about this strategic initiative from Microsoft?
No, I'm actually Bungie Studios is off-site, so we don't have much interaction with the Redmond campus. So I don't know anything about what those guys do.
Can you tell us about the Xbox Live Arcade title that Bungie is working on?
We've only announced Halo 3. But on their project.
That game's about to ship in like a few weeks, so.
Then we're all going on really awesome and kick-ass vacations to Windtown.
Where are you going on your vacation?
I'm going to Amsterdam.
Nice.
Yeah.
And why would you be going to Amsterdam?
It's chill.
Wait. Is maybe that an interview with Guerrilla? You know, they're located there. They're making Killzone 2. It looks pretty fucking hot. Oh, okay, maybe not.
Dude, it's just a bad mint, sorry.
It does look great. I mean, I liked Half-Life 2 the first time I saw it, too.
Your point?
My point? Have you seen it?
Shane, defend the realm, dude. Draw
Yeah,
swords.
Are you saying that Killzone 2 looks like Half-Life 2?
That's very astute of you. Yes, that is what I was saying.
It doesn't, and I don't think you've actually seen it, so you should shut your mouth. So there you go.
What?
Have you seen a live gameplay demonstration of that game?
As opposed to watching the gameplay demonstration on a video that's the same?
Yeah.
No,
so that's a no.
Gotcha. Sorry, that makes it a lot different when the guy's standing there with the controller telling me that it's awesome.
Yeah, like actually, yeah. What is the difference, Shane? I would like to know too. Like, help me understand
the difference, between watching a video that's been spliced together versus watching somebody play through a whole level, it's a big difference. It's a difference between seeing a real game played live with real AI and real experiences,
and like the difference between a CG trailer.
Yeah, they got pretty close to that trailer, though, didn't they?
Absolutely, it looks great. Looks excellent. 2008, Believe. Can't wait. Super stoked.
Luke,
buying a PS3 for it and Metal Gear, Believe.
So, Luke, what have you seen? What have you played at PAX?
Sony right over there.
They're excited. Yeah, they're ready for my $400.
That's $500.
Believe.
So, Luke, what have you seen here that's impressive?
Seriously, the audience is the only thing I've seen here, and it's pretty impressive. But otherwise, we came here and got water and came into this.
Yeah, okay.
Sorry, didn't play anything.
I walked by and I saw a really impressive Eye of Judgment setup. And first, you wouldn't think Eye of Judgment would be a really incredible game, but for this audience,
right, I wouldn't.
Considering all the unplugged games here, there's a lot of card games, dice games, miniature games. I think this is a good place to show it. And Eye of Judgment actually looks pretty cool for that audience. People who would play a trading card game.
Did you play anything that's not by Sony?
No.
Well, Uncharted is by that's by Naughty Dog technically, and that game's really fucking impressive. It looks beautiful. If you haven't seen Uncharted, looks really good. Also, Mass Effect is very impressive. That looks beautiful. Yeah. How about that one? And over at Nintendo, they got Metroid Prime Corruption, which I'm also playing through. If I wasn't here, I'd be at home finishing Metroid Prime 3 Corruption, and it's really good. So
awesome.
Yeah.
Have you seen the crowd watching the Mass Effect demo, and it's like half the people there are wetting themselves. It's like, wow.
Yeah, I know. John's got a big heart on for that one.
I do. I'm glad I'm sitting down.
There you go.
Oh dear. So you're playing real games though at home now, Luke. You actually have time to play games.
Yeah, magically. Well, I get to consider it research.
So do you have 2 level 70s now?
No, I actually haven't been playing. World of Warcraft, but I've been playing a lot of War 3. I know, old school. This game's like 5 years old. I think it's like 2002. I can't get enough Warcraft 3. Seriously, that and Dota.
Why?
That's right. These 8 dudes know what I'm talking about. They're like, yeah. And then their 7 friends are like, yeah.
All right, I think we ought to let these guys get into the game because I know a lot of people out there have wanted to be part of the show before, so this is it. Your chance. The mic's right up here.
Don't be shy.
Don't be shy.
So I think it's an important caveat, though, before we do this, just to be clear. If your questions suck, it's your fault that you're making the show worse because we're here and we can do the cool show, but now we're letting you get involved, so don't screw it up.
And by the way, we're throwing it that way because none of you fuckers have heckled us yet, so if you're not going to heckle us, come up and we'll heckle you.
What was that?
Sorry. Don't everybody come up here at once. All right, we got some brave souls.
All right, here, victim 1.
State your name first.
Age, sex, and location.
Dave.
Caleb.
Hello, Caleb.
I was wondering if there was any games that you guys have played here that you weren't expecting to like and you did, or any games that you were expecting to like and you didn't.
Ooh. Well, I think Kane and Lynch is already on my list right there.
Yeah,
he said if there was any games.
Caleb wants to know if there's any games that people have played here that they didn't expect to like that they liked, or if there's any games that they expected to like and ended up being full of fail.
Yeah, and I'd say Kane and Lynch hit the fail button right away for me. God, you've got to be able to aim the damn thing to enjoy the game. And by the way, flat textures, that's pretty ugly.
I got to say, on the fail, Two Worlds.
Oh. Well, hold on a second. Have you seen Darren's blog about Two Worlds?
Oh, yeah. Didn't it start
Fecal donut. That's what I have to say.
John.
Fecal donut.
John, were you actually excited about Two Worlds?
I wouldn't say excited. I was holding.
I was skeptical from day one.
Little candle of hope. Little candle.
Because when they first came
that was a candle born in oblivion.
When they came to our office to show us that game, they had no game. They instead showed us an art book, and this was like 3 months ago. I'm like, "Where's the game?" They're like, "Oh, we have this art." I'm like, that's a bad sign.
Uh-oh.
And it's being made in like some Eastern European country. Yeah, it's like Oblivion, but like non-union equivalent. I'd say avoid.
Didn't play anything.
You didn't play anything. But there's a game. There's a game on Nintendo's booth called the one that's like vision training. What's it called? Focus training with flash focus. Like I thought that was gonna be kind of lame. It's actually really cool. So check that out.
Okay, I got a sleeper that I liked that I saw today. The Warhammer 40,000 portable game, Squawk Man.
Does that involve painting miniatures?
No, it involves no painting of miniatures, but it has a really cool system to it. You would like it. Check it out. It does a good job of putting it on PSP version though. DS version.
Who's publishing that? THQ?
Yeah, THQ. They got the license.
Yeah.
All right, our next victim.
Luke hates games.
My name's Aaron. Okay, the question's for fan favorite Luke.
Of course.
How is it?
Fan favorite.
We're all favorites. Every one of us and every one of you.
What are the
Very
differences?
special.
What are the differences between doing the Bungie podcast and doing One Up Yours? And then for the rest of the crew, how's it been like without Luke?
Good question.
Good question.
It hasn't smelled quite as bad.
I don't know if you got around.
We had it less out now he's not here.
I don't know if you've gotten around to listening to the Bungie Studios podcast, available on iTunes. Please download the
It's kind of shillish like that most of the time.
Yeah, no, it's more talking about what actually happens in games and less speculating, and less swear words. It's more kid friendly, more family oriented.
Don't look at me.
Well, John,
I'm tossing it over to Garney. He's gonna start answering the question.
You're becoming more family oriented as well.
I am, yeah, a little bit.
And that was the end of that. Okay, next.
Well, no, to answer the part about what's it like without Luke, it's it's pretty fun.
No one really, no one wants to step to the plate and hit the slow softballs over the middle that you throw. No one wants to swing. That's cool.
Well, we did actually announce that Mark McDonald is officially taking a permanent role.
What do you guys think of that? Yay or yay?
Yes.
Yeah, Mark couldn't be here today, but he's a good guy, and he'll fill Luke's shoes. He's in San Francisco.
He's at Ziff Davis Towers.
Yeah.
Next.
There was a blog on OneUp about a reviewer wanted to drop their Warhawk score a full point if it was $10 more than it actually ended up being priced. And I'm wondering, Rock Band is a big game here today. What would be your price ceiling for Rock Band?
Well, I think the $199 bundle, although they haven't officially announced it, you can pre-order.
It's absurd.
Yeah, you can pre-order. No, I don't think it's absurd at all. I think it's actually a good deal because you're saving like $70 if you were to buy those things separately. And I know all those peripherals are really expensive, but one of the ways they're marketing that game is you can buy that game with just the guitar and then tell your friend, hey, you buy the drums, my other friend buys the microphone, and together you have the experience. Or you can buy one instrument and then down the road, when you save up the money, buy the second one and play through it again. You can't hold them back for adding all these peripherals. It makes it a more fun game. It's going to be expensive, but I think overall it's a better game than Guitar Hero 3.
Says the man who's probably played neither of them.
Whatever it costs, I'm not joking. Whatever it costs, Rock Band, I'm buying it. The whatever to have as many peripherals as possible, I'm buying it.
Here's the thing. Rock Band is in its element right here, and it's a blast to play with other people. When you get that thing online, it's not going to be fun to be sitting at home by yourself staring at the television with the drums.
It will be if you're playing with your friends.
You think?
No, it won't.
Yeah, it will.
No, the fun of it is being able to hang out and play together on stage and have that experience.
I disagree.
You don't get dude, disconnected over the internet. Totally disconnected.
With me singing in your ears, Garnet, you're going to feel more connected than you've ever felt to another man.
I think we should leave that one there.
Thank you, sir.
This microphone's very tall.
The microphone's also very quiet, but we'll try and make it work.
Yeah, speak up, boy.
Hello. My name's Nate. Hey, John, could you say cheerio?
He wants John to say cheerio.
Could you say pip pip cheerio?
God, could you not pop
some more Britishisms for us?
What was your name again?
Nate.
Nate.
Yeah.
Cheerio, Nate.
I'm Garrett.
Hello, how are you doing?
I was just wondering what your views on Skate were, because I'm a big Tony Hawk fan, but I played it today, and it's a lot different. And I actually like it a lot better because it's more realistic.
All right, so he's looking for our impressions on Skate, which I have checked out. Have you checked it out yet, Shane?
I have. I really like the graphics in Skate. I think the camera angle makes it feel totally different than Tony Hawk.
Yep.
And
I like that because it's like you focused on the board rather than the dude.
However, I do think it is not as accessible. And like if you've never skated, you might not understand like the physics of it, and it's not a trick-based game. So people who are used to Tony Hawk might pick this up and be like, "This isn't Tony Hawk." But at the same time, I think serious skaters might actually like this better. But I think it might divide the market.
Come on, Skate is what Tony Hawk wishes they had thought of before they did, because that's Tony Hawk's so stale. How many times do I have to see the same damn game with like some new marketing pitch?
Yeah, but it's always fun. Whereas Skate,
you're right. It was fun when it was on my Dreamcast.
Why do you
it
hate
hasn't
Sega?
really gone past that. What?
Why you hate Sega?
I don't. I love, dude. You know I love Dreamcast.
You hate Sega.
Did they make sex with your family?
But I give EA props for like they got some really good talent like Robin Bigger in Skate. I think that's going to help. That's a cool license to get. And I like somebody going up against Activision because people have tried, no one's ever beaten them, and maybe EA with the marketing dollars can actually make a dent. So
ups for Skate, great looking game, good looking engine, fun to play, some new take on skating. About time.
But I don't think Tony Hawk is going anywhere.
And next question. Wow, that's the most skateboarding game's ever been talked about in public ever.
Luke, just because you don't like it, it's a popular franchise.
Without Tony Hawk being there, of course.
Hey guys, how you doing?
Excellent. Welcome.
I want to arm each of you with a magic fairy wand, and with this fairy wand, you can change one thing about PAX to make it better.
Wow.
What would that one thing be?
Oh, good God, it's one of those fucking questions.
I got it. I'd make our panel longer.
Oh, yeah. I would use my magical...
What would you use your magical fairy
I would use my
for,
magical
Shane?
wand to turn half of this audience into scantily clad cosplay chicks.
Why only half?
I got to leave something for Luke.
I think it leaves something for your side of the table.
I don't think that you want to go there, Shane, because if we do, it's going to be a war. You're going to lose.
Done went. What do you guys want?
Fewer kills.
I haven't seen any kilts at all, actually.
You just want to wear a kilt.
I saw the dude in his underwear.
They're spacious, they're airy. I want a kilt. There you go. I want a kilt.
You want a kilt?
A black one.
More games because, look, I mean, the best thing about PAX is walking around here and seeing gamers who actually play the games, walking around with smiles on their face, having a damn good time, getting in to actually play the games. And there's no reason that publishers don't have more games here.
I wish Nintendo had games here that weren't coming out in the next 3 weeks. Yeah, sorry.
Why waste all that money to have focus groups when you can bring the shit here and let real gamers see it?
Exactly.
Thanks, guys. Cheerio.
Good. Very creative question.
Hi.
Hello.
I have a question for Luke.
Of course.
How do you go from reporting on someone to working for them? Because I have a friend who's a game journalist, and he kind of gives his resume to companies he interviews. How do you deal with like this murky subject?
So for everybody back there in the back, he's asking Luke how you go from being a journalist to then working for a single company that you've been reporting on.
So the part that I want to actually focus on is the part where you said you have a friend who gives his resumes to dudes that he interviews.
Yes.
Yeah, we should actually probably just get that kid's name, and he should probably not be reporting anymore. I mean, really. But it's so how do you change? So how do you change sides, basically?
How do you go to the dark side, Luke?
Well,
or in Luke's case, how do you come out of the closet?
What?
What?
That was it, right? That was like the one Garnet joke where he makes it and he like thinks it's funny and everyone else is like,
yeah, we're kind of used to that around here.
Okay, so how do you switch sides? Well, in my case, it wasn't anything that I was actually considering or planning on or even necessarily interested in. And so when Bungie approached me about a position that they wanted to actually create for me, it just became a weigh options. What's going to be the best move for me in my career eventually, anyway. So it wasn't necessarily like a throwing away of ethics. I don't feel like I've had to shirk anything other than my potty mouth. Otherwise, it's a lot of the same stuff. I get to ask the guys on the development team the same questions that I would have otherwise. Does that answer you? You want more?
More!
Well, I actually don't have more next.
Eject. Thanks, though.
Hey, guys.
Hey.
My name is Jimmy.
This is Jimmy.
Garnet Lee, I think you're pretty funny.
Really?
Yeah, I think it's pretty funny.
Garnet, you have a fan.
I'm your biggest fan.
Write down that name.
He's not going to give you
Jimmy.
Write down his name.
Last name.
Keep me in mind for swags too.
Yeah. MySpace address.
I don't have one.
Jimmy, do you like Garnet's shirt?
I do. I like his shoes too.
Nice.
They're very nice.
More importantly, does he have a sister?
Do you have a sister?
I'm sorry, I don't.
That's all right.
Wow.
You got a question for us?
I do. So, what, in your opinions, what was the best swag tonight? And along with that, what was the best presentation?
What was the first part?
Best swag.
The best swag and the best presentation. I have to tell you, I've been covering games, so I haven't gotten to any of the presentations. And the best swag is not really swag, but
the horse head is pretty amazing.
Oh, you mean out of John's office?
Swag.
Out of John's office?
No, just in PAX today.
I go buy Castle Crasher toys.
What?
Castle Crasher toys, man. Those Castle Crasher toys are badass.
I missed.
They're going on my ledge.
Yeah, they're awesome. I like Will Wheaton. I thought he was funny. Yeah.
The only swag I got were those Bungie gum, and they're pretty nice.
Yeah, I just want to echo those sentiments and say that there's a variety of really cool swag over at the Bungie booth.
Actually, yeah, that's not free, though. You got to pay for most of it, but it is pretty nice.
You got to pay for the gum?
That shirt doesn't even deserve
the gum's free.
Oh, okay.
We're giving the gum away for free?
And Garnet, I have a question. How much money did you pay this kid to come up here and say he likes you?
All right, next.
About half what Sony gave you.
Oh.
All units pull up. Bail out.
All right, sup? I'm Franco. And,
hello, Franco.
I'm learning how it's like to work in an office where, not only do you have, you're working at an office and you have like a one-up show, and like not only people call you man gods.
He is the one and true man god.
And not only your coworkers, but like a whole cult.
The cult of man god?
Wow.
A whole cult,
Someone grab that URL, by the way. If you have like a GoDaddy account.
But not only your coworkers, but having a whole cult be sad that you're leaving work.
That's more for you, John.
What?
No one's sad because I'm not leaving. They'd be sad. They'd be happy if I was leaving, probably. But
what the fuck are you singing?
It's actually it's the thing that Ariel sung in The Little Mermaid when she was.
Are you singing?
When she's gonna lose her voice.
Are you singing A Whole New World?
But it's I can sing that. I do know the lyrics to that song as well.
Whole New World.
Don't you dare close your eyes.
That's Aladdin. So yeah, John, how's it like the outpouring of emotion that you're leaving?
That was. I think you were talking more about what it was like doing what we do in the work environment that we do, right?
Do we have a clue what the fuck you asked, by the way?
Okay, so I got it. Franco, I got you, dude. Ready?
Okay.
What's it like working in an office full of diverse people with an assortment of personalities, some of whom may consider themselves man gods, and were there bitter tears cried on the internet when John decided to leave?
And you, Luke.
Succinctly put.
I think it's correct.
I can't answer that one.
It's for you.
I was very touched by everybody, and also this is a good opportunity to. Is Christian O'Brien here?
Christian O'Brien. Oh, he's
Christian O'Brien right there.
Yeah. Thanks for the whiskey, dude.
Oh God, we only have 11 minutes.
Everyone was very nice to us, and actually, I don't know if you saw the last episode of the One Up Show, when Kathleen came into my office and was making she wanted to do a skit about me leaving, and this was 10 minutes after I'd actually quit. and I hadn't told anybody. So she walks in, and she does it completely straight-faced. Where are you, Kathleen? Are you hiding? So I wondered how the fuck she could possibly know. I'd been very secretive about this. And she comes in, and she's like, well, we're really sorry that you're leaving, that you're retiring, that you're hanging up your boots and you're getting out of here. And I'm sort of sitting there looking like it's genuine discomfort on the video you can see.
Like, how did we find out? Yeah.
And then it came out that she wanted to fake it, and I'm like, when does this go out? And I'm trying to get out of her kind of the timing on this thing, because it's going to be very awkward if 5 minutes after the show goes out, I actually say, hey guys, I'm leaving.
Oh, you mean like what exactly happened?
Yeah.
And it was really awkward.
It was a little awkward, but yeah, the response has been fantastic, and I'm going to miss these guys a lot day to day, but I'm actually, my new office is 1 block away from these guys, so I'm not going very far.
I heard security is going to be really tight, though.
Hey, also, can you have a one-up Battle of the Bands when Rock Band comes out?
A one-up Battle of the Bands.
That'd be
Rock
good.
Band comes out.
It's probably like a...
Except Luke won't play. He's been playing Guitar Hero.
Whichever has the best Weezer songs.
That would be rock. That would be Rock Band.
There'll be plenty of rocking out around the
That'd be
office.
Say It Ain't So.
I'm sure Ryan, you gonna get that on video for us? Done.
Nice. Thank you.
Fuck you, I'll win. What the hell? I'll win.
You guys should step outside and finish this like.
How about we'll team up?
Next
right, next.
question.
How's it going? Can you guys hear? I don't know.
We can hear. We'll interpret for you.
Could we get some gain on the audience mic?
My name's Ralph, and I was just curious. Ever since Scarab Lord Luke left Legendary Thread, I don't want to say the podcast is bad, but it's been a lot less interesting, and I'm kind of worried that as John leaves, we'll miss him, and I'm wondering if it's all possible to have John still stay on the podcast.
He is staying on the podcast.
Oh, okay.
He is staying on the podcast.
Oh, fail.
Newsflash, John's staying.
Okay.
But Scarab Lord Luke not coming back.
The 99 other listeners here are like,
are you making notes, Luke?
I'm playing tic-tac-toe with myself.
Oh.
He's writing Scarab Lord down.
Yeah, did you win yet?
I'm signing my name over and over.
Practicing. How is your Scarab Lord anyway, Luke?
I actually haven't been. I haven't had a lot of time for a game like WoW.
You're neglecting your Scarab Lord.
Yeah.
Wow.
Next question, I guess.
Yeah.
Right? Sorry.
Hello, I'm Mike. I'm just wondering how you guys feel at being game journalists. You kind of are no offense, kind of the bottom of the barrel, I would say, on respect-wise. No, it's true. I mean, there's regular journalists, sports journalists, game journalists. At least in the in print journalism society.
You're forgetting about tabloid journalists.
I don't know. Guys make stories about UFOs. Game journalists, UFO journalists. I don't know. No. I'm just saying.
God, go back to Russia.
Hey, you guys want someone to make fun of you a little bit.
Hey, look, we're a fucking step ahead of Mike Vick, okay?
Fair enough. What do you guys do, though, when you are hanging out with other journalists? I don't know how often you do that. How do you guys feel you want to legitimize the profession, at least in their eyes? I'm
gonna take that for a second, which is that's something that actually people who read us worry about a heck of a lot more than we worry about, because we're just doing our thing. And to be honest with you, we're doing it because we love it. We're not like we're here to make a big buck or make a big splash or become anything. So most of us just have a good time with it.
Yeah, and I gotta say, the movie and film journalists who I've met are they're really no better than us, or their gig is no cooler than ours. Actually, they do get more respect because their media is more respected, but it's really pretty similar to being any kind of media journalist. I mean, I'm sure a New York Times writer has a different world than we have, but media journalism is all pretty similar.
Let's get Luke in. Luke, from the outside, what do you think?
Well, I mean, one of the things that I thought was really interesting when I was when I was covering games was the level of access that broad press would get to developers, and you would see broad sweeping press like the Wired guys get access to Reggie, and as enthusiast press it'd be really hard to get access to Reggie, which always struck me as weirdly incongruent, because what Reggie's going to say is going to resonate much further with the enthusiast press audience than it is with the person picking up USA Today.
Right, but at the same time, at E3, if you look at the mainstream buzz coming out of this E3, it was, Wii wins, Wii Fit is amazing. But like if you look at enthusiast journalism, we have a completely different take on it. But in a way, Nintendo knows that they can like play the mainstream press and get whatever they want out of it. So
it's just to avoid talking to the ground. It's like John and I were talking about over drinks before the show, like the circle example that you gave. You should probably give that because it sums it up really well.
Yeah, I mean, there's two. I mean, I think part of what you're talking about is it's not just that games journalism is dismissed a little bit. I think, like, honestly, and this is something that we can all do something about, is that as gamers, we're still dismissed a little bit by people because people don't understand what we love. They find it, well, some people find it offensive and some people are scared of it. So anything associated with it they feel is threatening because, they hear like, it's the future of entertainment and it's something they're scared of, and, they've read one story about, Grand Theft Auto and hot coffee or whatever, and it just scares them off. So they think that anyone covering that is validating it in some fashion. But what's happening right now with the industry is a lot of the stuff, particularly the stuff here that we really love, those games are going to continue because we as an audience are going to keep consuming them. But the Wii Fit and the stuff that we're seeing on DS, and you look at any sales chart, and I think all of us would, when we see horses on DS like at number 5 in the chart or whatever, I think we're all like,
Hannah Montana.
Hey, Hannah Montana was okay.
It was.
And it's kind of what the fuck, but that it's not. I think that the initial thing is this stuff is a threat to the kind of games that we love, and it really isn't. It's the circle that we're in is going to stay, and it's going to keep growing. But the interesting thing about all the other stuff is it's another band kind of around the outside that's pushing out to people that don't normally play games. They're trying it. They'll buy horses and dogs and budgerigar and all that stuff for their kids, and it's making gaming bigger, which is ultimately good for all of us, and we'll loop back into the journalism side as well. You think?
That was way too deep for this show, by the way. I think we went into the PBS mode there for a minute.
There's like the studio. NPR, All Things Considered with John Davison.
We're here for the delicious dish.
Next, someone give us a dick joke.
Thanks, guys. Hate your shirt, by the way.
Hopefully the next question is a dick joke.
Yeah. No pressure.
This isn't going to be a dick joke.
Well, that's why I have a question specifically for Shane.
Okay. God.
I think he's a great part of the One Up show, but I remember a Christmas episode where he was saying he loved this demo of Genji for the PS3.
I reviewed Genji for One Up and for EGM, and I believe I gave it a 6.5.
I think you're taking back.
Perhaps a 6.5.
Yeah. You were redeeming 6.5.
Like when I first did my preview,
was that the game you took 6.5 back for good?
No, that was the game. It was Killer 7 that I reclaimed the 6.5 for good. Actually, on that one,
it's completely subjective because today it was like Blue Dragon only 6.5. What the hell?
Well, so the first time I played Genji was at TGS 2 years ago. It was a one-level demo, and it had really good graphics and fun gameplay, and I thought it seemed pretty good. But the final version, it was pretty limited, and I gave it the score I gave it, and I stand by it.
And the question is, today we had Ubisoft come and give us a demo of Assassin's Creed, which looks great. And he made a small announcement there, and he made it very clear. The game is going to have real-time weapon switching. And I was wondering if you think, what are the odds of there being giant crabs with weak points on the bottoms?
It doesn't make a whole lot of sense for Assassin's Creed, but it might make it more interesting based on what I've seen. But actually, I think
that was fucking harsh, dude.
I think
you just made Patrice cry.
Or Jade.
The question more is, can they get a pot on top of that crab so it'll drop it?
What I find even funnier are the number of massive damage references in other games. I've personally seen 3 so far this year, which is funny because Genji is not a very big deal, but like the legacy of that crab boss is actually bigger than anything Genji could have ever been. So kudos to Game Republic, the designers of Genji.
Hello. I was wondering, has there ever been any time on the podcast where you got really worked up about a game and got really angry about it, started arguing with each other, and then an hour later suddenly said, "What the fuck? I don't even care about Shadowrun."
That's probably yeah. Garnet, would you like to feel that one?
Feel that one, huh?
You owe Mitch an apology. Where's Mitch?
Hey, John, remember when I made you bleed with the power of my mind?
You did, yeah.
That was awesome.
What was that about?
Dude, how awesome was that?
What were we talking about? Oh, GTA.
Yeah, we were talking about GTA, and it was a discussion about the strength of the Grand Theft Auto IP as it goes multi-platform. And Garnet on this show, this was probably like the third or fourth show. We were still doing it in that little janky room before we moved to the studio, and Garnet was just goading me over and over and over and over.
Did Garnet really believe it, or was
he was just doing it to piss me off?
One thing you got to notice is a lot of times when Garnet says shit that's just totally stupid, he's just being devil's advocate.
He's playing a character.
I would never do that.
Like Shane.
I would never do that.
Man, God.
All the gospel truth.
But a lot of times the anger and resentment you might sense, it's fueled by substances.
I would say that
many of which come from the United Kingdom.
The Shadowrun interview, though, was the only thing that made me want to pick it up, though.
And did you?
Did you?
No, because then it came out and I saw it.
Yeah, I think it's only $29.99 now. You can pick it up on the cheap. So
next.
So on the topic of Rockstar and Grand Theft Auto, I noticed that Rockstar's booth is all shrouded in black curtains, so I thought I might actually get to see Grand Theft Auto 4. And when I went in there,
it's table tennis on the
table tennis on Wii,
and a lot of lollipops.
Right, and I was kind of disappointed by that. I didn't know if maybe it's because Rockstar doesn't think PAX is important enough to show it, or if they're not ready.
No, I
to
think
show
it's
it.
because GTA is in a state to show right now.
It's not.
No.
Yeah, the times we've seen it, we were concerned. Yeah, based on what they showed us, like when we thought it was really coming out in October, we were all a little bit like.
And that's not to say it's bad. It's just I think they bit off a lot more than they could chew for the timing that they'd given. I mean, we've only seen a small piece of it, and it's very, very ambitious in terms of the amount of art and stuff that's in the game. So I think right now they're going to go away and they're going to make it work.
But and I'm still personally skeptical about the March date.
No way.
Yeah,
November.
It's going to be a big deal because they usually hit their release dates. I mean, one of the things we've been big on Rockstar about is how tightly they manage their PR in the first place, and then how good they are about like when they announce a game, it's close enough that they announce it and then it actually comes out.
Right.
And they're not going to have. That's not going to happen.
Yeah.
And you're convinced it's not going to be March.
Follow-up question for John. Okay. Where did you get your shirt?
Where did I get the shirt?
Yeah.
That's a Mark Echo shirt.
Mark Echo limited edition shirt.
Really?
That was a promotional item for Getting Up, I believe.
Oh man, that line's getting longer. Next.
It's a total fail when you're wearing a video game shirt at
I like the shirt. Yeah. He liked the shirt.
Dude, Garnet, seriously, you're not allowed to talk about other people's shirts.
Talk about fucking shirts.
Also, Garnet.
I love your shirt, but I'm just saying.
Well, also Garnet. Luke,
can't have it both ways.
Luke is not only wearing a video game shirt, but he's pimping where he works.
Yeah, always branding.
On the outside of a button-down shirt.
Yeah, I know. In case it was going to be cold. I wasn't sure. It's a little cold up here already.
Please continue.
Hey guys, so I'm not sure if this question's ever been posed to you, before, or if it was on the boards. But if you could go back in time and talk to yourself as a 13-year-old video game fan, what would you tell your younger self about the video games of today?
Another one of those questions. We made it a long time.
I would tell my 13-year-old self to run more. Seriously, I would. That's what I would say.
You would have played more Power Pad games.
I would say more track and field, less Hot Pockets.
More dance aerobics.
Yeah.
Wow, that's a serious question.
It is. Next.
Yep. I would have bought some Nintendo stock.
And watch out for that Atari.
At 13 in Kentucky? No, you wouldn't have.
Maybe I wouldn't have spent the $400 on my Sega CD.
Man.
Or the 32X.
I would have told myself to make sure and buy a Saturn.
Saturn's good, dude.
Tons dudes in line. We should keep it moving. Tons dudes.
Thanks, guys. Enjoy the bourbon.
Thank you, sir.
All right, thanks.
When's this?
Hey.
When's the Scarab Lord gonna embrace Can't Quit You?
Sometime between tomorrow and never. I just can't. I just don't have time to. I just don't have time to play WoW right now.
Doesn't your game ship in like 2 weeks?
I believe it's a month from now. Yeah.
After that, you can fucking play some WoW, dude.
Vacation, time off.
Oh yeah.
We love you, man.
He'll be doing Lotro instead.
Oh no.
Yes.
So, quick question for you, Shane.
Oh God.
Yes.
Is that the hat you spent $70 on?
That is the hat. Don't let him try to deny it. I was there when he bought the damn thing.
Yeah, Garnet, you were there. We were in Tokyo on vacation earlier this year, and it was 6,800 yen, and with the weakness of the dollar, that was more like $60 really. And it's 100% wool.
Oh, nice. And another question: why didn't you switch out your lanyard if you're such a big Sony fan?
Because he's got love for the World in Conflict. Did you see the chicks?
I love them. Have you seen the chicks who dressed up at World of Conflict? This is in support of them.
Do you want mine? PS2.
It's all good, dude. PS2's kind of old, you know?
Yeah, but it's still Sony.
You're right. In fact, it's, the backbone of Sony's money.
Yeah, it's the whole reason that the NCAA sales were all
exactly
not the right frame, right? Yeah. Whatever.
It's beige. Oh my God, it's beige.
What's up, How about a special round of applause for Beige's hair?
You love him. You hate him. You love to hate him.
Hey, Mark.
All right, I'm going to ask a beige question.
Oh, dear.
Is it going to take you a while?
No. All right, so we're standing in PAX, right? And PAX...
We're sitting.
You're sitting.
All right, dude, just let him get to it. It's going to take long enough as it is, seriously.
So,
this shit's going to get deep.
All right. PAX started out really small and grew to be hugely influential on gaming culture, Penny Arcade in general, right? Because of the strength of the fan love. And I was wondering if you guys had given any thought to the idea that since you started out small and are getting huge thanks to the fan love out there, if you could leave a mark with One Up Yours, the ways that PAX has left a mark on gaming culture.
Luke, there's your softball pitch right down the middle.
What is your legacy, Luke?
I don't know. I'm not taking that question. All I had were underwear and skid marks jokes. Is that it? Did I just match?
Score.
Okay,
match game?
I would like to think that we've inspired other video game podcasts to be more transparent, more real. Not be afraid to piss people off. Not be afraid to say what's on our minds. Not afraid to fight with each other.
Yeah.
We're not dry. It's unfiltered. It's real, and we piss a lot of people off on here. We've made a lot of enemies, but we have fun doing it.
And I gotta say, we'll definitely do this again if they'll have us.
Yeah, just to see this actually.
This is outstanding.
I mean, because to be totally honest, just earlier today, Garnet and I were talking is anybody going to come? We knew a few of our friends were going to come to this, but we really didn't know if anybody was even going to show up. So
we were shocked when we suggested this that they even said yes. Yeah. So when they did, it was like, what the fuck are we going to do?
Hey, thank you.
Kind of worked out all right.
Thank you, Beige.
Thanks, Mark.
Thanks, Paige.
Hi, my name is Daniel. Got a question for Shane.
Oh, God. Yes.
Just want to know, man, after Virtua Fighter 5 comes out on 360, what are you going to do with your PS3 version?
Yeah, I'm going to keep it, but I'm going to get the 360 version for sure because online play is amazing. Even if it is a little laggy, I'm still going to play it. And maybe you can go try to kick my ass on there, dude. I don't know. Good luck. So I kick Milky's ass a lot. There's a lot of editing going on. There's a lot of editing on the One Up Show. Ryan edits it to make me look bad.
Just stop.
Ryan's right over there. He edits.
I beat Ryan all the time at Virtua Fighter 5. Your Shun D is weak.
But not only is that complete bullshit, Shane, who did you lose to in that tournament?
There were extenuating circumstances, and that was
who was it? Who was it?
Shane had carpal tunnel.
Mistakes were made.
Yeah.
I'm helping you out. I'm getting you out of this one, Shane.
Last one, real quick. Soul Calibur 4, PS3 or 360?
Probably PS3, just because I already have an arcade stick for it. But they both the version
Sony platform.
Because he's not going to
the version we played was actually on 360. So, yeah. Exactly.
Hey, my name's Mike. I got a serious question and not so serious question. Which one do you guys want?
Go with the not serious one, Daniel-san.
All right. When you guys are playing first-person shooters, do you invert the y-axis on your right thumbstick or not?
Yes.
Yes?
Fucking losers. You don't. Of course not.
You guys are sad heathen douchebags.
I've had to explain this to people. Down is up.
What was the last
it is. Down is up.
Down with Shane.
What are you flying an airplane now?
No, you're flying your head.
Yeah.
All right?
That's the most
It's a paradigm. It makes sense.
counterintuitive crap ever.
What do you do? I invert it because...
That's awesome. Very good.
That's the right answer.
Because when I started playing Star Fox back in the day, the default setting was down is up. I didn't know you could switch it, so I grew up on that, and now I'm totally used to it.
Exactly.
All right.
You're right.
Luke, which camp were you in?
What?
Which camp were you in?
I'm in the correct camp, the camp that Bungie Studios Halo 3 will launch with. It's not inverted.
That's the last time you were allowed to say that.
Boo!
That is the incorrect answer.
But as often as Shane's wrong, it's important to keep his head on a swivel, so I understand.
I was just wondering, how much credit do you guys how much weight do you give to the idea that print is dying and that one day all magazines are just going to disappear and everyone's going to use the internet to get all their information? Sorry, I asked the heavy.
Shane, executive editor of EGM.
Shane, you work on print.
It's getting easier to look at the internet while you're taking a shit, but it's still kind of hard. So until everybody has an iPhone, I think there's still a place for print.
A riveting defense.
But actually, with us, it does help us that we still have EGM because the 1UP network is able to leverage that to where you get coverage in the magazine, coverage on the show, coverage on the site, coverage on the podcast, and publishers see that as a valuable thing. Yeah. So it's still an important thing for us.
Much as it pains me to mention this game because of who's on the show today, but we wouldn't have got the Halo 3 stuff if it wasn't for EGM. So, for the time being, people still like to see stuff in print.
But from a non-business perspective, I think the thing that I like about a nice glossy page of print is it's good high-res art. It's a great place to show off stuff that you have no idea when someone's on PC. You don't know what resolution they're looking at stuff. And in the high-res world, why do I want to look at pixelated, compressed crap?
Thank you very much.
Yeah. They're still coming.
Hello, I'm amazed.
I know, it's overwhelming.
Yeah.
Well, my name is Blaine, and I would like to make a dick joke.
Please, please.
Yes. Blaine, you're our special winner.
Okay. PictoChat.
Yes.
Oh, man, you stood in line for that, too. That was awesome.
So the other thing was I did want to thank you guys. You get me through my workday, and that means a lot to me.
You're allowed to listen to our podcast at work?
I wear headphones. What do they know?
Nice.
Awesome. But also, when you guys talk about the casual games, there is actually a serious question.
Okay.
When you guys talk about the casual games and the way that space is going, you seem, particularly you, John, the last thing that we talked about, pretty optimistic about what that means. And I kind of look at that and I see movies are mass media, the kind of, long story short, I don't like most movies, so I'm kind of worried games will get dumbed down like movies have.
So you're getting at the point that if it goes casual, that we'll lose the high-end games like the BioShocks?
That's going to be kind of the
high
equivalent
concept
of
goes away.
Art house, yeah.
Absolutely. How can it hurt us to get a bigger marketplace? Honestly, if there's more money in the game space and there's more people wanting to put money in the game space and there's more opportunity for artists to do their thing.
Yeah, but if the kind of games that are selling are all Wii Fit and games for my mom, I think the danger is enthusiast-specific games, like hardcore games, may die out because it's not a winning proposition for publishers. Look at Ubisoft.
They'll die out. Look, how many copies of Halo 3 you sold already?
The pre-orders are around 1 million or so. I think
that's a lot of $60 and $120 crazy versions.
Right, but Halo's a AAA major production. I think he's worried that more art house games, the kind of games that don't have a defined audience, and I worry about that too. But I think the hope for that is things like Xbox Live Arcade, PSN, where a small team with a very small investment can get a game through. And I have friends in development. I'm saying do that because I know you can't sell your game idea to a major publisher for a real game.
And there's some really creative stuff coming out of the casual space, and I think casual games are the weed of the gaming drugs.
Yeah,
I don't get it.
But I support games like Everyday Shooter. That's the key actually.
How about this? Mallrat says hello.
That was awesome. How quiet you were when he said that.
I should have dropped a pin.
Hi, I'm Raman. First of all, not only are you guys all man gods, you are probably the most important podcast.
Wow. Thank you. That's very good praise.
Mike, My question is, Rockstar just announced that that Manhunt 2 is getting the M rating, that they're coming out with the modified version of it. Are they massive pussies? And by extension, is the AO rating a giant flaw in the rating system, or is it actually a viable rating system that should be ignored by retailers?
There are like 23 AO rated games, I think, right now.
All of them on PC.
And a very large proportion on the Mac.
Really?
Yeah. Mac gamers like it fucking hardcore.
I think AO is no more useful than NC-17. It's something people want to avoid. It's not viable. It can't really go to retail in any significant way. And I think that the mature rating is screwed up. And I think it's sad what's happening with Manhunt. I'm happy that it's finally coming out. But I played the AO version of Manhunt 2, and it doesn't deserve that rating. It deserves a mature rating. And I think it's kind of sad what's happening. I'm happy that it's coming out, but I'm depressed that Rockstar actually caved in and made the edits.
Julian was talking about that over at Leipzig earlier this
Julian Egbrecht from Factor 5.
Right, and I think he made the point, and the point he made, besides all the, we need more sex in games, which whatever, but the point that he made that matters is that there's a hole there that's tremendous. John, usually we're looking at him as like the father of the crew. There's a big difference between a 12 and 13-year-old and a 17-year-old, and that's why there's a problem in the SRB.
The gap is kind of between T and M. I think people get hung up on AO because it's where all the really nasty stuff is. But, have you ever seen an AO game? No. They're pretty sad.
Have you ever seen hot coffee?
It's pretty sad.
Hot.
It's pretty sad. Thanks for the question.
Thanks.
Hello, my name is Sean, and you're pretty much would be considered somewhat as professional gamers. You play games on pretty much for a job.
We'd like to think so.
Yeah. So other than the fact that you have a job and that takes up many hours, how has that professional gaming affected your casual gaming?
Well, that's an excellent question.
Yeah, it definitely impacts your casual gaming because it's hard to make time to play a game you want to play. And for me, in any given month, I'll be reviewing anywhere between 3 and 20 games, and it's hard to fit in a game you want to play. So you end up putting it off and saying, "Oh, one day I'm going to get to this game," and you never get to it.
Back when I was on EGM, we actually got to a point where around the holidays, people would fight over the games that they wanted to play and not want to review them. I remember when Metal Gear Solid 2 came in, and nobody wanted to review it because they wanted to play it at their own pace. Because there's particularly in print, you've got, basically 3 weeks to blast through stuff when it comes in.
And sometimes
that's like the BioShock thing. I had 3 days.
Exactly. With a lot of really important games, we have to go to a place and play it there, over the span of 2 days, sequestered. And it's the least ideal way to to experience a game ever. So it does definitely impact your enjoyment. And Luke, you could probably talk about this now that you're no longer in the field.
Pay attention.
Yeah, quit scribbling Halo 3, sales figures over there.
I'm making grids, not Halo 3 anything.
So now that you're no longer here, do you enjoy playing tons of games for fun, Luke?
Yeah, actually, when we have time, a big part of a big part of development is actually playing the game that you're working on. So multiple nights a week we have to take builds home and play it, so it's sort of similar in that it does cut into a lot of your free time that I would otherwise be playing something else, but at the same time, since I have a lot more time to play other stuff that I want to play as well now.
But I will say it is a good trade-off. Those experiences when you're one of the only people in the world who gets to play a really cool game months before it comes out, you remember, okay, this is awesome, any of you people would die to be playing the game we're playing, so you remember that, and it gives it some perspective.
I'll tell you this, a big adjustment I had to make, and actually has made me really enjoy gaming more as a professional, is that I don't have time to play very many games on my own, but the games that I do take the time to play, if they're good enough to make it past 2 hours, I'll finish them. And finishing a game is if you ever get jaded and you think you're done with this, take one game and play it and finish it and stop trying to play 7.
Good question.
Thank you. Thank you.
Very good, yeah.
This is Big H.
What's up, Big H?
What's up?
Damn, man, he's got a better voice than any of us. Do that again.
You should come do this.
What's up?
Oh.
So, my birthday is September 25th. I turned 25.
Happy birthday.
Oh, it's your golden birthday. That's awesome.
So I'd like to thank Luke and Bungie Studios for giving me the greatest fucking present ever.
Are you buying the version with the cat helmet?
Of course.
That's more money in your pocket, Luke.
Now, to my question, what are for all four of you guys, what are the top 3 games, 07, that you're buying this holiday season?
Ooh, good question.
3. Somebody go first.
Okay. Mass Effect, and...
What was your first one?
BioShock.
Does that count? It's already out.
Doesn't count.
Yeah.
You got a free one anyway. God, you didn't buy it.
All right, I got some.
All right, go.
I got Super Mario Sunshine. Not Sunshine, Galaxy.
Oh,
I'm sorry. I'm still a little drunk.
And the smug
Galaxy,
smile.
Uncharted, Drake's Fortune, and Crisis Core Final Fantasy VII.
You really are bringing the 6.5 back for good. That's excellent.
Yeah.
Come on.
So I guess mine would be, I'm not going to sit and say my game. Probably Call of Duty 4, Rock Band, and Galaxy, actually. I'm super excited for Super Mario Galaxy.
Yeah. Mass Effect, Galaxy, and I guess Call of Duty 4 as well.
Wow, it's going to be a sweep. Call of Duty 4, absolutely. I have so much love for the IW guys. They're amazing. And Halo 3, of course, and Mass Effect.
Hi, my name is Dave. I just have a question about BioShock. Is BioShock experiencing like a hype bubble, like the economy sees bubbles? Does it deserve all of the hype that it's getting?
It's kind of weird. I saw this thing.
Yeah. Let me tell you, as the guy who signed his name on a 10, and actually the first 10 I've ever written for Ziff Davis, it deserves all of the hype.
I agree. I was just wondering what your opinion was, because I've heard differing things on that.
But it's funny, your backlash. I was reading a story yesterday where stock analysts were saying, hey, people who are buying all the 2K stock, it's not that big of a deal. BioShock isn't GTA, because the stock shot up 10% in overnight. But I think it is a big deal, and I think when a sequel gets announced, it's going to be a huge deal. So
that's absolutely true.
Yeah.
Also, one quick thing: they have Soul Calibur 3 and Virtua Fighter 5 over at GameWorks. So if you guys want to play that later,
he threw down the gauntlet to you there.
Kick all your all's asses.
Hi, my name's Graham, and unfortunately, according to most of the Penny Arcade forum, I am a dick joke.
So a living dick joke.
Pretty much.
Nice.
As a fellow PlayStation 3 owner, my question is for Shane. Last month, the MPD numbers had the Canadian PlayStation 3 far outclassing the Xbox 360. What is it about Canadians that makes them so much smarter than their American counterparts?
I can actually get that for you. You see, it's much colder there, so they haven't had to replace as many of their 360s from overheating.
Well, Canada is an amazing, amazing country. I love it. And every time I visit there, the beer in Canada has more alcohol than the beer here. So that's part of the reason how awesome they are. But both consoles are doing very well, and I'm happy for both of them.
Fair enough.
Wow, and he'll be running for office later.
I have a PAX-related question.
Excellent.
Having endured the new E3 and seeing the rise of PAX as a viable, mass, consumer-driven exhibit, are you guys excited to see PAX growth? And
hell yeah!
How does it
absolutely?
Impact,
PAX is the biggest video game show in America now.
Yeah. How does that impact you guys as media?
Well, I got to say, the mood here versus the mood at the new E3 is totally different. The new E3 was really strange. It wasn't very useful. It wasn't what we wanted. And I think these consumer-driven shows like this are really cool because it really get in touch with the community, and it's a very different experience.
They're totally different things. This is where you guys want to be. You don't want to be at E3. Trust me, you don't want to be at E3. It's not what you think it would be. This is fun. This is a good time. This is the way the gaming culture should be having a good time. PAX should get much bigger. E3, bye. See ya.
All right. Thanks.
We're down to the last two.
Make them good.
I just wanted to know what you guys think with Nintendo dropping all of their big franchises later this year. Do you think the Wii will become another GameCube, or do you think casual games will be enough to keep the steam rolling?
Do you mean in terms of next year there not being many big franchise games, or?
Well, next year there isn't really very much outlook for, as far as I can tell, for any real big franchise.
I don't think you have anything to worry about there. Look, here's what's going to happen. Everyone's looking at how much the Wii is selling, and if you're a publisher right now, you are absolutely thinking, I need great Wii games. You can't sell 400, 500,000 consoles a month and not get attention. So I don't think anything to worry about with that. And as far as Nintendo goes, you know that they're going to keep coming back with great product. They always do.
I mean, I think at this point, the Wii has such crossover success with non-gamers and non-traditional gamers that it's going to maintain its success. But I do wonder about if there's no big enthusiast games in the first half of next year, the kind of games that we're excited about. And the third parties definitely are not delivering on the promise. Most third-party games on Wii are still shit. I worry that we're just going to move from Nintendo release to Nintendo release, dust off your Wii when that next Mario or Zelda comes out. Personally, I think early 08 is pretty bleak for Wii in terms of exciting games.
I totally agree with you guys, and I'm worried because how long can you keep making the same game over and over again?
Until someone makes the next good game.
Well, but as long as millions of people are buying shitty games on Wii, then what's the impetus to make good games?
Ooh. Don't worry, it'll be there.
All right, thanks, guys.
You, my friend, are last.
I'm the last guy.
This better be good.
I think just on behalf of all of us, I just want to say thank you for coming out here tonight. We do appreciate it. Yeah, you guys are a blast. Definitely listen to your show. First thing, you guys going to Digital Life next month?
Maybe.
You should come out there. Come visit New York.
I would love to go.
You should go. So, in your opinion, guys, who's winning right now? PSN for their titles, or is it XBLA?
Do you really want Shane to answer that?
No, I want to say
no more than you want me to.
Let's have Luke answer that one first.
Go ahead, Luke.
It's not really a question for me to answer, so it's not really my thing.
Well, I think PSN is still playing catch up as we thought they would be,
right.
And I think after Home comes out, that'll change the landscape a bit. But I think that they've done really well in the short amount of time they've had, and I commend them for having a free service. I believe that Xbox Live Gold should be free, and I think Microsoft is making a huge mistake in not having it be free.
Cool.
John, what do you think?
I don't know. I like this whole delivery platform for more than just the small games. I think what's happening with Warhawk, whenever that is, this week?
It's next week, Tuesday.
Next week. Warhawk's pretty awesome.
Warhawk is awesome.
I think
even Garnet, who used to hate Warhawk.
I never hated it.
You hated it, dude. You keep coming around now.
I had a little thing. It's still called Warhawk.
So I think being able to distribute games on that scale, I think it applies some pressure to Xbox Live Arcade now to do more than just the sort of small fragment experiences.
Yeah.
So I think the best thing is that they both exist, and I think as long as there's two services like that are duking it out, then they're just going to keep pushing each other. We're going to keep getting cool stuff.
Do you think Home is going to change the landscape though? Because Home is something that a lot of us, we don't think we want it. You think, oh, that's just getting in the way of me playing my games. But I think to a lot of consumers, it's something they really do want. People who use things like MySpace.
Let's ask them, shall we?
Consumer analyst Shane Bettenhausen.
Yes. Are you guys looking forward to Home? Are you going to play with it?
Bandwagon.
But show of hands. All the yeses.
But so
Shane, you're wrong.
Okay, but maybe you're not aware of what you can do in Home. Like on Home, we could be having this right here on Home.
We actually do have actual people from Sony PR here that we could just get up to do the Home thing. Did you guys, Sheila? Did you want to come up and talk about Home? You can have my chair. I need a Coke.
So look, you guys up here.
I noticed you didn't mention Nintendo service because WeConnect 24. I think it's kind of lame.
It's sad. I'm probably one of the biggest fanboys, and I'm pretty disappointed right now with that.
Yeah, I feel like they're really dropping the ball on that. But what are you gonna do?
PSN and Live are both great. You
Thanks,
guys up here in Washington, there's several folks around. I happen to have come up here about 8 months ago to check out Gastronaut Studios when they were working on Small Arms. And when you see a crew of 2 guys, 3 guys working on a game, and it can work because there's a place for them to sell the game. Who cares whether it's PSN or Live? Who the hell cares whether it's PSN or Live? That's what's important, is those guys have a place to sell it.
Yeah. But I got to say, those are a lot of really good questions. I can't believe we had that many people wanting to ask us questions.
Damn, we have an educated audience.
We do. Smart kids.
All right. I don't know what else to say now. We're done.
We're done.
Are we over? Are we done? Is it dead?
Yes, it is dead. So as we close out of here, thanks, Luke. Man, I very much appreciate you taking the time to come down.
Anytime we can get the band back together for an encore.
Will you do it again next year?
Yeah, I could probably do it again next year. We could.
All right, you know where to find us. It's boards.oneup.com. For Luke Smith, Shane Bettenhausen, John Davison, I'm Garnet Lee saying thank you, and until next week, we're out.
Thank you, guys.
Wow.